This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area. This, this, this should be played. This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Shalom, salama, siyimi, shalom, family abroad. Definitely welcome back to Red Letter Rap. This is your man Ross T, aka Red Letter Rap. Brother Hario's running a little behind, but definitely, hey, go ahead and say what's going on.
Shalom, family, shalom.
Definitely, shalom. Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of wanting to wait on Hario. About to send him a message right quick.
Well, how about we play a little music or something for a little bit?
Well, we could do that. We could definitely do that. We can go ahead and bring in some tunes for a little bit while we're waiting on Brother Hario. So let's see here. Got a couple off to the side. All right. All right. Yeah, here we go.
Toda Abba, all praises to you, Abba Yahuwah. Hallelujah. King Yahushua. Yes.
Chris Q, pray that beat again.
Told the Abba to give her life for this fallen tree. I say connected, your promise, my leaves forever green. I know forever seems beyond my wildest dreams. You cultivate with the breath of life, you deliver me. I need your energy flowing all to the enemy. We suffer curses, the scars as deep as the rivers be. I see the injuries taking blows from the enemy. We march on to the beating drum on these bloody streets. Your luck can supersede the lust of man's greed. If we could only just step away from idolatries. How can two men walk if they do not agree? I plan to see from our spiritual eyes and see we get the victory. The word is less important. If it ain't the words from my Abba, I can't endorse it. Trials are hard, I would not forfeit. I know fruits of the spirit is my portion. I trust you for higher learning. The vanities of this world I'm not concerned with. I pray that you keep my eyes open, give me discernment. A wretched man that desires to be a servant, returning to the only thing I know that is perfect. You know the hidden things deep beneath the surface. My purpose to be a workman who need not be ashamed with the gift that was given. I'm praising in foreign language. You give vision to the blind sight and blind the minds of those who sold their soul like their birthright. Yes, the people chose and now they oppose media crack pipe. End up with an O. What do you know about the high price? And since I'm nothing but a vessel, I learn to know my place and stay humble. I'm nothing special, just looking for the rescue. This life certainly will test you. And the descendants of Jacob, my forefather who wrestled the Malachim, he held on to the blessing. Hip out of socket, he gave birth to the brethren. Yasharal, we need spiritual progression. Connection with the Torah, we stand against deception. I pour my heart out in the session. My brothers keep on my actions, I often question it. Strive for perfection, I fall hard in these lessons. Forgiving me 10, 7 times 7. Forgiving me 10, 7 times 7. Yeah, forgiving me 10, 7 times 7. Yeah, you forgiving me 10, 7 times 7. Thank you, Abba. Forgiving me 10, 7 times 7.
Yeah, time to pick it up. Yeah, can't even let it slack. No slaps in my back. Yeah, your hood still be up. Hey, I acknowledge my Father in all things, yes I do. My flaws and all, I'm living proof of His love. I was with the thugs, He cleaned me up, dust me on my rust, yeah. Pointed me to the scripts, yeah, pick me up. Yeah, failed many times like a man do. Praying for my daily bread, never can fool. Do what I can, I'm never stressed the lessons, yeah. Through experience, you gon' find the blessings, nothing less. Go through what you made for. He never put on you more than you can handle. Man, I lost some brothers in the process. I shed tears, but I'm focused on the process. I truly understand now what the scripts say. All Israel ain't Israel, it's visible. I'm in Yahuwah lane and I ain't tryna pass him. Cause he the pinnacle, say bruh, time to pick it up. Yeah, can't even let it slack. No slouch in my back. Yeah, Yahuwah still be up. Yeah, time to pick it up. Yeah, can't even let it slack. No slouch in my back. Yeah, Yahuwah still be up.
Daily got it bumping. To the Alpha, I'm back again with my Akyam. Sinners like a light in dark places, let's get a shine out. Right on, stand on a rock, firm like a pylon. Barak Abba Yahuwah, the sweetest name that we call on. Eyes on the prize with the spiritual lies we fight on. Yahusha, our salvation is worse than life we rely on. Survive on the blood that He shed on the tree He died on. Belly of the beast as He took them keys and He ride on. Now while on this earth I will give Him praise while my mic's on. Watch out for the snake cause they moving around like pythons. Arrived on the ships, we was stripped of everything my gone. Truth beat out of a segue onto these sad songs. Can't wait for our people to finally smile yelling so long. Free from the trials of the hatred, been treated so wrong. Time to pick it up, no slouch in my back, I roll on, yes. Yahuwah stood us up and He gave us His words to hold on.
Pick it up, yeah, can't even let it slack.
Can't even let it slack,
no slouch in my back.
No slouch in my back.
Yeah, Yahuwah still be up. Yeah, time to pick it up. Yeah, can't even let it slack.
Can't even let it slack,
no slouch in my back.
No slouch in my back.
Yeah, Yahuwah still be up.
Daily got it bumping.
Time to pick it up. Yeah, can't even let it slack.
Can't even let it slack.
No slouch in my back.
No slouch in my back.
Yeah, Yahuwah still be up. Yeah, time to pick it up.
Who will be nursing faith in these days? Suffer as believer, receiver, and don't be ashamed.
Hey, had to let it go, had to clear the road, had to hit the boat. Riding in the ark, I ain't packed much, just my soul. Don't care how the wind blow, I'm still. Hey, I'd rather live wise than to die real. Hey. Selling poison, making money that ain't real. Hey. Serpents in the garden, gotta learn to see 'em. Box the devil like I'm Holyfield. Yeah. Grew out with me, then you know I'm with me. Yeah. World try to put me down, yeah, my suspenders. Nothing of the world but a minute. Never with the folly business. Trying to help save a soul. I'm about my father business. To gain the whole world but lose your soul. That's silly business. Take the loan on my life serious. Wage of sin is the interest.
Give it up. Pain is love.
It's gonna
woe to them who will be nursing faith in these days. Suffer as believer, receiver, and don't be ashamed.
Chapt. Yeah. No, brothers. They be like, wow, how? This young brother doing it. Y'all making the call. I'm big man brewing it. A plow. Look at me plow. They ask how I'm doing it. If you ain't know, she's let me tell you about it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Yahuwah did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Yahuwah did it. He really did it. Yahuwah did it. The guy did it. Hop in the brew and I coast. I
nigga, you hood the most. I'm living, that's not like surviving. I hit a creep with the Heisman. Why they can never say sorry, but they be stealing the lorries. Your hood giving, that's official. Talking bold, make them whisper. That's a gun, this a missile. Rocket City with the scriptures. Why they tripping on the jester? I'm at a family unconfessed. When a man on the plate, I chew, baby, bless you. Keep a devil under pressure. They know they sick and true forever. Take it back with damn bells. I'm moving in, getting settled. Pro box with the hook. This a well, not a brook. On the surface in the house. Got the key, I'm a janitor. Know the signs when he vouch. I am far from an amateur. Don't make me laugh. Quit quoting your fables. No broadband, this fire stick. Stop messing with cables. No neutral. I pick the side. Decision is crucial. Nothing is hitting it close. I love your hood the most. Like, wow, how? This young brother doing it. Y'all making the call. I'm big man brewing it. I plow. Look at me plow. They ask how I'm doing it. You ain't know. She's let me tell you about it. Your hood did it. Your hood did it. Your hood did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Your hood did it. Hood did it. Your hood did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Your hood did it. Your hood did it. Your hood did it. Oh yeah, it did it. Your hood did it. He really did it. Your hood did it. The cat be like, wow, how? This young brother doing it. Y'all making the call. I'm big man brewing it. I plow. Look at me plow. They ask how I'm doing it. If you ain't know, she's let me tell you about it.
Hey, is this art? Aye. Cause I wanna paint. Can I paint? Watch the canvas get splattered. I scribe lines with the truth. Paint portraits like Frida Kahlo. I bind bars with the glue. So me gleep with the ink, my loose sleeve with the flu. So clearly I am artistically sickly with sticky lyrics, but none of that matters. Inflated and Balaam better. Peppered in all my passions through canvas reveals a platter. I'm not the only deceptive are we creatures, so devious and it seems delusive under the sheets. Disguise a city of schemes. Society rest in peace. Pieces of wicked arteries, crevices of our speech. Power welcome to greed like I want. For the love of money whisper I want. Couple tens, couple 20 singing I want. Copper pins, copper villa screaming I want. Couple threads, all designer, copper palace by your island. More you fancy your desires, more you stitching up your eyelids. Woo! Who that little lady from the east side? AI the anomaly. Who that little lady from the east side? AI I'm going all in. Who that little lady from the east side? 716 Nickel City where I come from. Who that little lady from the east side? AI I'm going all in. They not ready for this lyrical lioness. I annihilate any rhythmical rudiment. I am anomaly. And I've been tryna grind, been tryna move in. I'm a whole different breed, call me the new kid. I don't follow the groove, I follow the blueprint. My part of the truth, molding my life, ink in my pen. Yeah, they got the juice, but I'm dripping the critics. Stitching his image, I'm dipping the scriptures, I'm fully submitted. Yeah, I'm all in it and authentic. I'm all driven, I'm all cause, I don't involve gimmicks. Yeah, he cleared the canvas and cleaned the cameras and did his business. Lift the pally and place his prop on the podium. Dip the brush in the palette and painted purpose in all of this. Who that little lady from the east side? AI the anomaly. Who that little lady from the east side? AI I'm going all in. Who that little lady from the east side? 716 Nickel City where I come from. Who that little lady from the east side? AI I'm going all in.
All right, shalom, family. Decided to play a couple tunes. I'm waiting on Brother Haruyo. Life had you held up a little bit, bro.
Yeah, brother. Look, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, fam, man. Look, I tell you, man. It seems like every Tuesday, I feel like Sister Sharita last week. Every Tuesday and Saturday, man, that warfare be booming, man.
I'm just glad to see that you're here.
Yeah. No, it's not nothing big, but it's just like, like I was like, I don't think I ever worked so hard to get to get my computer.
Oh, I feel you.
That
Man,
my phone was dead, so I couldn't do the mobile thing like I used. So I was like, man, if I get on there, it's gonna click me clean on out. You know what I mean?
oh,
But how y'all doing though? How y'all everybody doing, man? Y'all
Good.
good though, huh?
Good.
doing
I'm ready. I
great.
need this word, brother.
Oh
Story
man,
time.
me too.
Man.
Me too. Trust and believe, family. Like, look, I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody get on a little something. We all need to pray for each other, and
Yeah,
so I'm essentially asking without asking, and I'm now asking, family, pray for me. Not just me, but you heard Brother Harvio going through it too, so he needs your prayers. I know Sister Sharita needs your prayers.
definitely.
I know Sister Shauna Shade needs your prayers. Central Growth needs your prayers. Elkin Barlow needs your prayers. Miss B needs your prayers. We all need your prayers. Quincy Lola needs your prayers. We all need to pray for each other because I'm telling you right now, I'm going through some warfare things at the same time too. Like we all need these prayers for each other. Is basically
Yes.
what I'm
Most
getting at. I don't want to
definitely.
be selfish. I do
Most
not.
definitely.
Oh, we need to pray for each other because this warfare. You are right, bro. This warfare is serious, especially like right around now.
Right. Right.
Man,
Right.
definitely, man. Like, I keep feeling like I'm needing a reset of some sort, a detox, a cleanse, a fast, or something, a restoking of my coals, and so the fire in my bones just rekindles and just strengthens. That's what I'm needing. I need that because man, I had to go ahead and turn on. I didn't download the video yet, but brother Eshawn Burgundy and his wife fall away. Yeah, I had to bump that earlier.
Yeah, man. I've been on some on that that throwback Pastor Darby, man. I ain't lying. I've been on that throwback, like what I'm saying, like the old videos, you know what I mean? Like the ones from like when he was doing a lot of warfare, you know what I mean? Like, man, I've been on them videos lately because look, man, we need it right now, man. I promise you, look, I'm just like Brother Rawls, man. Pray for me, look, man.
I pray
And
for
it's
you.
like, it's at the same time we gotta sit there and understand that we have to put on our armor too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the enemy be catching us slipping and we ain't strapped. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We gotta put that armor on every day. Every day, man, every day.
I'm with Ross. I think I need that whole body cleanse too, body, mind, and soul. Definitely try to get away, eat a little bit more healthier. Maybe I'll just even feel a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a new. For me personally, it's kind of like a new start to a new challenge, and that's kind of like the calm before the storm. Like I know it's getting ready to get rough, and there's some things, some habits in my life that I've been kind of like. Um, a lot of folks know that I don't shy away from telling the truth that yeah, I'm still struggling with smoking cigarettes. All right, so I
Right.
mean that's one thing.
Right.
So I'm definitely need to get away from those. Trying harder. I've said on live posts on Coon Book a long time ago that I'm one of those brothers that I still be struggling with I guess rolling up things like that. So I need prayers on that. I don't shy away from these things because I'm a real human being just like everybody else. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and some of these things I'm starting to notice some of the pressures that I'm getting and the convictions that I'm getting, which is beautiful, and I love the conviction that's telling me that look, these things need to go, and I
Right.
appreciate it. I
Right.
appreciate every last bit of it because I could be one of those people that would be lulled straight back to sleep like those things are no problem. Thankfully, the Most High has shown me those things are a problem, and
Right.
those
Right.
things got to go. You know what I'm saying? So thankfully I'm being convicted over these things. It's just like I'm needing to reestablish the whole everything, and I'm thankful for a conversation. I was talking with one of our sisters up in Canada, and she was getting me hip about reanointing myself. Like using olive oil to start a new covenant, to start a new commitment on getting away from things. And so I'm interested, because I don't know everything. I'm still trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm
Yes.
willing to take advice. From not wherever I can get it, but if it
Right.
lines up with the book, and if it sounds like Holy Spirit led and Holy Spirit fed, yeah, let me get a plate.
I'm with you when you're right.
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 And brother, I know that you'll be out there on the limb by yourself. You know what I mean? Look, I still smoke cigarettes too, and I struggle with that. You know what I'm
We
saying?
all
I struggle.
do.
I struggle with that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not gonna let you be out there now. I kick the weed. You know what I'm saying? But I still struggle with those cigarettes because I know that's something that's something that I shouldn't have touched out there in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That was something I should have
Amen.
never touched. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, in a way, you know what I'm saying, the Most High removed a lot of stuff out of my life. But I
Mhm.
feel like, in the same sense, that certain things that I shouldn't have touched, but it's like that thorn that Paul had. Like I always say, that thorn that Paul had, because see, I think me having that sin make me sit there and have to deal with that. That lets me know that I'm not perfect. Because see, if I honestly, you know what I'm saying, being where I'm at and looking back at my past, being where I'm at now, the old me would probably think this new me is perfect and try to fly down the street. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Thinking he holier than thou. The old me, you know what I'm saying? The old me probably looking like, hey, he fly. But this this is I felt like he left that there. Even though I'm not condoning. I'm not condoning. Y'all do not smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't that
I,
it?
I
I'm
hear
not
you, family.
condoning it. I'm just saying, in the sense of that, that's something that I shouldn't have touched. And I think this is like a little lesson to let you know that, look, you need me every day. You need me every day. Every time you get up out the bed, you need me. You know what I'm saying? You just always something that, you know what I'm saying, the Most High let you know for a lesson. He not just going, he don't, you know what I'm saying? He's never audible spoke to me. I heard people say he audible speak to people, but he don't speak to me like that. He speak to me through like chastisement. You know, I'm being honest. You know what I mean? He always spoke to me like chastisement. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? He speak to me, he smile at me when I get blessed, you know what I'm saying, and I get get a little farther down the street than I thought I was gonna go. But most of the time he speak through me through chastisement. You know what I'm saying? Like discipline. You know what I
We
mean?
listen. We listen
I
to
know
them
when I
whoopings.
messed up. I know when I messed up. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? I know when I messed up.
I hear you. And
And
I hear what you're saying about trying to be careful about not condoning. What I'm saying about that being
right,
a thorn
right,
in your side. I hear you. What I'm saying. I've heard so many other people's delivery from nicotine and stuff like that. That man, that's what I'm looking for. Like
Exactly.
yeah, I know I can be delivered from this. You
I,
know what
and
I'm
I'm.
saying?
I,
So I know you can
right,
be delivered too, bro. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So I know if and I heard Sister Shonda at Large's testimony to a degree about her deliverance from cigarettes. And she said it was like supernatural for her. It was like just poof, like almost
Right,
cold turkey. And I'm
right,
like, oh,
right,
like I know we ain't supposed to be jealous over each other. I'm
yes,
not trying to
jealous.
be jealous. I don't
right,
want to be jealous,
right.
trust
But
me.
I ain't gonna lie.
But
I think that
inside, I'm kind of somewhat jealous. Like I want to be done with this. I'm
yeah,
serious.
real for real. But I ain't gonna
Oh,
lie.
shout out to a sister Shonda at Large,
I ain't
man.
gonna
Shout
lie.
out,
I think
shout
that's
out,
how it's gonna have to be for me. You heard me? I'm just saying. Cause
man.
look, I didn't try it. And my little brother quit, but he was using the CBD oil. And you see, I can't use that because you know what I'm saying? I drive trucks and they drug test me if they got that and if that pop up in my system, even though it's totally legal. I don't even get that, man. But they got the CBD oil or whatever, and he said he's quit. He quit like completely. Like he's been taking that CBD oil or whatever it is, but he quit completely. But I can't mess with it because they said that it could pop up in your system like marijuana or something like that. And I'm like, well, I can't even mess with it. You know what I mean?
Right. I've tried quitting, and other things I've had like it just stopped. Like I have no craving for it, and I hope that cigarettes will come about the same way. I've been smoking since I was 13, and I will never condone smoking cigarettes. If they said today that cigarettes was illegal to buy, I would probably buy as many as I could. And when I was out, because I was never one of the people that wanted to do anything that was against the law. I don't want to get in trouble. Marijuana, I was so paranoid peeking out the window. I don't want to go to jail. But cigarettes, I've been smoking since I was 13 years old, and I'm literally addicted, and that's the only way that I can describe that. As I've never been on serious drugs or anything, but when you can't stop something, when you lose your lighter or you can't find your pack of cigarettes and you snap on everybody in the room to help you look for them, you have a problem.
Right.
And even though I hate the smell of these things, I'm still smoking them. So yeah, pray for us.
Yes.
Definitely.
Every cigarette smoker out there needs your prayers.
Yes.
Every last one of us. I mean, I know that. I mean, it's something that we brought upon ourselves to a degree. Because I was one of those teenagers and one of those kids. Like, I never smoked cigarettes. I never.
Yep.
Me too.
That's disgusting. Like,
Me
you know what
too.
you're doing to yourself. You know what you're doing to your lungs. I was one of them kids.
Right.
Like, you know what you're doing. Like, I bet you I beat you in a 100-meter dash.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
one of them dare kids.
I bet you when them lights come on, I bet you I beat you. I bet you they ain't gonna catch me.
Yes,
I bet you they catch
you.
you.
Dare kid.
You know what I'm saying? I was one of them kids, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm serious. And now that I've got, like, I started smoking cigarettes at 18 years old while going through I was just before kind of going through my first bout of homelessness during high school. And so I did it for like peer pressure, like just fitting in, social fitting in. One of the dumbest things I ever did in my life was pick up a cigarette. And I told my kids the same thing. All my kids. I told them, like, please don't. Like, this is one of the dumbest decisions I ever made in my life. Because I was one of those kids that used to condemn smoking so bad. And like now, like I haven't shot hoop in a minute. And I believe a whole lot of us ain't shot hoop in a minute. But at the same time, I know good and well I ain't got the same stamina I used to. Like my nickname used to be Hustle Man 3000 on the court. Like I will D up with everybody. Like whether you
right.
I will D up with everybody. Like it don't even matter. You might burn me. But I'm gonna get right, back there. I'm gonna get right back there. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it again until I stop you every single time. And then I would start learning people's maneuvers and stuff like that. And I started getting my Gary Payton, look on my face. And then I start to get the clowning and start putting my hands up in your face like the glove and all that. Like I'm putting the glove on, the Gary Payton glove on your face and everything. I was a clown back in the day playing ball. Now I ain't got none of that.
Somebody asked if smoking cigarettes and smoking weed is a sin.
Yeah,
and I wanna say, like, I don't think like biblically it's like a sin, but I'm convicted that I should quit. And the Bible says that my body is a temple, and I don't think that I'm treating my temple very well.
Yeah. And then see, that's the thing. You see, I'm a little bit different, Rawls. The way I picked them up, I was going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I picked them up young. You know what I'm saying? Not as quite young as Miss Sharita, but teenage, somewhere up in there. But I picked them up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I used to be on. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I used to be on pills, real bad. I'm from Louisiana, and we kind of went through a phase called ecstasy, and I was on pills real bad, and I picked, and I don't know how, but I ended up smoking cigarettes, you know, and I praise the Most High every day for bringing me through that, you know what I mean? But once I got off of that, the dependent for cigarettes became more, you see what I'm saying? The balance went from, you know what I'm saying? I went from not smoking them a lot to once everything, the weed was gone, the pills was gone, and I got off of the lean. I was heavy on lean, and you know what I'm saying? Like I was literally addicted to that stuff. You know what I mean? But once all that was gone, I noticed my cigarette. I went from maybe, you know what I'm saying, a pack every 3 days or something like that to a pack a day. You know what I mean? And that's when I, you know what I'm saying, it's but you're definitely right about it. It's not technically in the Bible because I don't think they had no type of. I don't know if they had cigarettes. They probably had cigarettes back then, knowing the technique.
Well, tobacco is mentioned in the Bible. They probably just it don't have as many toxins as it does now.
It's according to what you just said, the temple. You know what I mean? Abusing your temple.
Right, and see, and I like how Brother Black Gold, asked this question. He's like saying vices are real.
Right.
When we leave the Christian churches, I'm truly asking: is weed a sin? Cigs, drinking, is moderation and being led enough? I think this will come up a lot as the assembly grows, and he's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct.
I think
I've actually went live about this conversation on Coon Book like over a year ago. And my response back then, talking about it, I was like, look, folks, everything ain't for everybody. I was real bold, bless you. But I was real bold about this conversation back when I was talking about it because the understanding in which I had at that very moment is still pretty much the same. Everything ain't for everybody. And this is absolutely true. And I'll go ahead and re-spark some of the emotion I had back then because, like, we all know people out there that we can consider as potheads, straight up potheads. They smoke a little bit, they are stuck to the couch. They ain't going nowhere, they ain't doing nothing. So obviously that is not for them. You know what I'm saying? They cannot function. There are some people that are functioning alcoholics, and I don't condone functional alcoholism. I don't condone it. And there's people out there that can function on certain things, and I don't fully condone all the things that they can function on. But what I'm still getting at is that everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
And that's one of the key parts. Now, once we get further into the conversation, we start getting to a fairness part of the discussion. Like, well, that ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can smoke, but I can't. Well, you can't function. You know what I'm saying? Like it obviously it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something I think people should be, looking to be jealous at somebody else over. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? Me lately, just since we're, being open and honest about this right here, and like I said, I'm one of them people, that I still smoke cigarettes, still struggle with it. And I still roll up every now and again. And I guess I'm kind of starting to deal with some of the conviction with it because I'm starting to get to the point to where it's like I no longer. It's not that I'm not being satisfied, I guess, to a degree, but it's like I'm really not being satisfied. I'm not. I'm starting to feel some kind of way about myself in that state, which is good conviction. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's definitely time for me to have the proper conviction to say, yo, it's time to hang this up. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's just what it is. So I guess back to what brother was saying, he was like, are these things sin? Let's see here. Sounds like you're speaking with discernment here. It's most definitely important to articulate these things as we grow. Appreciate you, bro. I love the truth and openness here. Absolutely, family. And that's something that we have to be about. We really have to be about this transparency. If we really want to get to talk about these topics, we really cannot be addressing them from a holier than thou standpoint.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Sister saying drinking in moderation is okay because the word says a lot about drinking. and it says not to cleave to wine or being an alcoholic. And she's absolutely right there. And I also very much appreciate the study that Brother Thoughts Camera Action did on the Testament of Yehuda. And Grandpa Judah told us, he said, that um, you can learn a lot. You can actually be revealed secrets from heaven by drinking wine. But, and this is the caution, he said, but you will be given over to deception if you drink too much. And that's the part, once you go break moderation and your whole goal, like I told people for years, what I'm saying, like the Bible says, drinking's not a sin. All right. And the word says to drink of the wine, but not to become drunk. So I used to tell people straight up all the time, like if your goal when you go out to drink, or let's say you get ready to have a couple drinks, what I'm saying? If your goal is to get toe up, then that's where the sin is at, right there. Because your goal was to drink beyond your sobriety or beyond your control. And that's where the sin is at. So it's like you have to always make sure that you're in control of yourself. The Most High gave you this common sense to be in control of your faculties when you want to enjoy yourself. Well, it's time to do that. You know what I'm saying? So the problem ain't drinking. The problem is knowing your limit.
Gluttony.
Yeah. I think the Bible says it's called it what, a drunkard. A drunkard. But I just want to say this though. You see, everybody, we all have different things. You see what I'm saying? We all have people, it might not have people, in consideration that, I won't put this, are more fault than us called sin. You see what I'm saying? Even though we, you see, because people, other people have, I'm not saying other people, everybody has their own section. You see what I'm saying? Everybody, we all just come into that section of where we touched something that was wrong. We come into little, this what we have coming on. You know what I'm saying? But other people may sin in other places, like lust. You know what I'm saying? Some people have lust problems. Some people have anger issues. Some have different. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, none of us are perfect. None of us are the Messiah. You know what I mean? So when in the sense of that, that's why it is, like you said, Roz, I like what you said. The transparency has to be there. You see what I'm saying? Because the transparency gonna bring conviction. The transparency gonna bring healing. You know what I'm saying? You can't heal people telling them that you holier than thou when your hand in your pocket too. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly why, I've said that for a good long while, that I don't mind, revealing my sins to help somebody else do theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we all kind of have a line, but at the same time, it's like we do need this transparency.
Right.
To really heal our hoods. If I'm going to keep saying on all these episodes, whether it be from music or whether it be, reading the word, if I'm going to keep saying this phrase, we need to heal our hoods and heal our households. Somebody can easily ask the question, well, what does that look like? Well, where do I start? Well, it starts with transparency. It really does. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it comes with, that testimony from one another. Like, okay, I did this right here. You don't want to do this. This is how I ruined my life. And this is one of the things, the conversations in which, I kind of went in depth and detail about, on Coon Book a long time ago about, the things that made me the father that I was. Even though my intentions was great before I ever had children, I was like, I'm never gonna be the dad that I had. I'm gonna be a way better dad to my kids than I ever had. And it turned out that even though I wasn't abusive to my children, I wasn't present because I was chasing a rap fantasy at that point in time too. I was out, selling sacks. I was doing things. I was whoremongering all over Ohio, all kinds of things. So even though I wasn't the same dad that I had, I wasn't present enough. You feel me? So these are part of the things in which, you know, I can only hope that, you know, a father out there hears this right here testimony and says, okay, well, I got to heal this relationship with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't there enough or something, or tries, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to rebuild with some of my children, you know, still, you know, and it's rough. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. There's none of this comes with a perfect manual on how to do it, on how to repair your relationship with your children or your family members. There's no perfect manual to it, but you have to at least try. You have to at least make the effort to try and reconcile and let it be known where you went wrong at. At least let it be known where you went wrong at, you know?
I don't want to relieve you of your conviction or anything like that, but none of us have it, right? Like, I'm here for my kids. My mom was there for me, and I had a stepdad was there, and they were very, you know, biblical. My stepdad was a deacon, and so they really relied on that, spare the rod and spoil the child. Well, that didn't work out so great, because that's not. I don't think they meant. I don't think the Bible meant what they did. So, you know, there is no manual, and even the manual that they've come up with here in the world we live in really gives the power to the children. It doesn't give a proper instruction of how to truly raise a child. It just takes the power from the parent, gives it to the child in DCS.
Pretty much. Pretty
So
much. And that's a problem. Go ahead, sis. No, go ahead, sis. My bad.
no, I'm just saying that, I mean, we're still trying in the place that we're at. And I get, even when I spank my kids growing up, and while they were growing up, I was heavily convicted. Like, I would cry after I whipped my kids, or why did I do it like that? Can I do it a different way, or whatever? Um, and even still, and my kids didn't get beat like I got beat, and I still have the same sort of issues with my children. So in our captivity, I don't know that we could really ever get this right. I mean, if you sit and you read this word, it already tell you how it's gonna be. It's family member against family, mother against child, father against his son, and all the stuff that we going through right now is literally in the Bible, and half of us didn't see it. The separation of the family, um, uh, pornography, sodomy, all this stuff is there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need grace, sis. That's exactly why we need grace.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm not a don't get me, look, I'm not no grace only person. I know some of the brews some of them don't even like that word grace. You know what I mean? And listen, I believe that the laws are not done with. But what I think we don't have all together is that we need that it goes together. Grace goes together with the law. You see what I'm saying? It goes together with the law, without the sacrificial part of the law,
And not a part, and not separate.
because we already have the Messiah for the sacrificial part. You see what I'm saying? But we need the grace slip ups like this, the stuff that we can't control. The sin that you can control is the stuff that's in the law, like the stuff that's like pork. You could quit that tomorrow. You could quit that. You could literally quit that tomorrow. You know what I mean? But the stuff that we're talking about on the show, the stuff that we're coming out about, we need to go to the Most High for, and that's why you need grace.
Yeah, serious addictions. Serious addictions, whether it be, certain, like, there are certain flesh addictions out there that, yes, absolutely, we have to take to the Most High. because it's only through his strength that we're going to overcome those things, and yeah, and to speak on the faith and grace and law and all that, brother Yeshua Marab, aka Black Tastic, he had a great study on that the other day, and it was either him. As a matter of fact, he had a good study on it, and then I know Elephant Man had a good study on it as well. I believe recently.
I'm at to check that out, brother.
So these all this, there's a lot. There really is a lot.
You know who I was bumping hard today, man? Cause look, sometimes when you have a day like I had today, you gotta meditate on something. You know what I mean? You gotta get your teeth and chew on something. So I was heavy on that Ben Israel, watching this Hidden Hebrews series. Yeah, the little playlist he got. I was just bumping that while I was riding. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I was on all day today. I just, even though it's just informational, but I had to meditate on something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely agree. So all kinds of good stuff in the chat going on right now. So much, there's so many comments, so many good comments, and I want to go ahead and get jumping into the reading because this is going to be some. Oof, man, it's like family. Oh, this we prepare. All right, this right here. This should come with a disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? We're going to definitely go into prayer before we start into this right here. But this disclaimer right here is that what we're getting ready to be reading, these scriptures right here, is like reading roots before roots. So that's my parental advisory. You know what I'm saying? All discretion advised. You know what I'm saying? Because the tears about to come on out. You know what I'm saying? For some of us, I'm telling you, because what's about to go down, like, oh my goodness. So we all gonna get through this right here really good and strong together, family. We all gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. That's right. Let's go, sis. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. But let's go ahead and start with prayer. So let's go ahead and bow our heads if you can. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings you've given us and the blessings that you will give. But most importantly, thank you for the love that you gave us to save us. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this communion right now, this congregation of all of us coming together, no matter where we are in the world right now, coming together to hear your word and to even discuss real life situations. We started this whole thing off tonight with real talk, and so I pray that your word reaches somebody out there, whoever needs that, and helps them through whatever they're going through. So it's not just us that we're asking for prayers. We're going to pray for them as well in this prayer for their addictions and their struggles. So we're asking for that, to help us through our addictions, help us through these things that we just got done calling out that we know we need you for, Father. Your strength and your strength alone is the only thing that's going to get us through these things. So we're asking for that, Father. We are asking that you get us through these things, and reveal your word inside of what we're getting ready to read. Reveal everything that we need to know to learn so we don't relive what we're getting ready to read. In Yahushua holy name I pray. Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 All right. So let's go ahead and get the screen share going. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Go ahead and zoom this in a little bit. I think we had this at like 160%. Square it up for us. All right. And full screen. So here us go, family. Whew. There was a man in the land of Egypt of the seed of Levi whose name was Amram, the son of Kahath, the son of Levi, the son of Yasharal, aka Yaakov. And this man went and took a wife, namely Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, his father's sister. and she was 126 years old, and he came unto her. And the woman conceived and bare a daughter, and she called her name Miriam, because in those days the Egyptians had embittered the lives of the children of Yasharal. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Aharon. For in those days, in her conception, Pharaoh began to spoil or spill the blood of the male children of Yasharal. And in those days died Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, son of Esau, king of Chittim, and Janus reigned in his stead. And the name, okay, at that time, that Zepho reigned over the children of Chittim was 50 years, and he died and was buried in the city of Nabna in the land of Chittim. And Janus, one of the mighty men of the children of Chittim, reigned after him, and he reigned 50 years. And it was after the death of the king of Chittim that Balaam, the son of Beor, fled from the land of Chittim, and he went and came to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Pharaoh received him with great honor, for he had heard of his wisdom, and he gave him presents and made him for a counselor, and aggrandized him. And Balaam dwelt in Egypt in honor, and with all the nobles of the king, and the nobles exalted him, because they all coveted to learn his wisdom. And in the 130th year of Yasharal's going down to Egypt, Pharaoh dreamed that he was sitting upon his kingly throne, and lifted up his eyes and saw an old man standing before him, and there were scales in his hands, in the hands of the old man. Such scales are used by merchants. And the old man took the scales and hung them before Pharaoh. And the old man took all the elders of Egypt and all its nobles and great men, and he tied them together and put them one scale. And he took a milk kid and put it in the other scale, and the kid preponderated over all. And Pharaoh was astonished at this dreadful vision, why the kid should preponderate over all. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And Pharaoh rose up early in the morning and called all his servants and related to them the dream, and the men were greatly afraid. And the king said to all his wise men, interpret, I pray you, the dream which I dreamed, that I may know it. And Balaam, the son of Beor, answered the king and said unto him, this means nothing else but the great evil that will spring up against Egypt in the latter days. For a son will be born to Yasharal, who will destroy all Egypt and its inhabitants, and bring forth the Yasharalites from Egypt with a mighty hand. Now, therefore, O king, take counsel upon this matter, that he may destroy the hope of the children of Yasharal and their expectation before this evil arise against Egypt. And the king said unto Balaam, and what shall we do unto Yasharal? Surely after a certain manner did we first counsel against them, and could not prevail over them. Now therefore give you also advice against them, by which we may prevail over them. And Balaam answered the king, saying, send now and call thy two counselors, and we will see what their advice is upon this matter, and afterward thy servant will speak. And the king sent and called his two counselors, Reuel the Midianite, and Job the Uzite. And they came and sat before the king. And the king said to them, behold, ye have both heard the dream which I have dreamed, and the interpretation thereof. Now, therefore, give counsel, and know and see what is to be done to the children of Yasharal, whereby we may prevail over them, before their evil shall spring up against us. And Reuel the Midianite answered the king and said, may the king live forever. And it seems good to the king, if it seem good to the king, let him desist from the Hebrews and leave them, and let him not stretch forth his hand against them. For these are they whom Yahuwah chose in days of old, and took as the lot of his inheritance from amongst all the nations of the earth and the kings of the earth. And who is there that stretched his hand against them with impunity, of whom their Elohim was not avenged? Surely thou knowest that when Abraham went down to Egypt, Pharaoh, the former king of Egypt, saw Sarah his wife and took her for a wife, because Abraham said, she is my sister. For he was afraid lest the men of Egypt should slay him on account of his wife. And when the king of Egypt had taken Sarah, then Elohim smote him and his household with heavy plagues, until he restored unto Abraham his wife Sarah. Then he was healed. And Abimelech, the Gerarite, king of the Philistines, Elohim punished on account of Sarah, wife of Abraham, in stopping up every womb from man to beast. And when the Elohim came to Abimelech in the dream of night, and terrified him in order that he might restore to Abraham Sarah, whom he had taken, and afterward all the people of Gerar were punished on account of Sarah. And Abraham prayed to his Elohim for them, and he was entreated of him, and he healed them. And Abimelech feared all this evil that came upon him and his people, and he returned Abraham his wife Sarah, and gave him with her many gifts, and did so also to Yishak when he had driven him from Gerar. And Elohim had done wonderful things to him, that all the water courses of Gerar were dried up, and their productive trees did not bring forth, until Abimelech of Gerar and Ahuzat, one of his friends, and Pichal, the captain of the host, went to him, and they bent and bowed down before him to the ground. And they requested of him to supplicate for them. And he prayed to Yahuwah for them. And Yahuwah was entreated of him, and he healed them. Jacob also, the plain man, was delivered through his integrity from the hand of his brother Esau and the hand of Laban, the Syrian, his mother's brother, who had sought his life. Likewise from the hand of all the kings of Canaan, who also came together against him and his children to destroy them. And Yahuwah delivered them out of their hands, that they turned upon them and smote them. For who had ever stretched forth his hand against them with impunity? Surely Pharaoh, the former, thy father's father, raised Joseph, the son of Jacob, above all the princes of the land of Egypt. And when he saw his wisdom, for through his wisdom he rescued all the inhabitants of the land from famine, after which he ordered Jacob and his children to come down to Egypt, in order that through their virtue the land of Egypt and the land of Goshen might be delivered from famine. Now therefore it seems good in thine eyes, cease from destroying the children of Yasharal. But if it be not thy will that they shall dwell in Egypt, send them forth from here, that they may go to the land of Canaan, the land where their ancestors sojourned. And when Pharaoh heard the words of Jethro, he was very angry with him, so that he rose with shame from the king's presence, and went to Midian, his land, and took Joseph's stick with him. And the king said to Job the Uzite, What sayest thou, Job? And why is thy advice respecting the Hebrews? So Job said to the king, Behold, all the inhabitants of the land are in thy power. Let the king do as he seems good in his eyes. And the king said unto Balaam, What dost thou say? Balaam, speak thy word, that we might hear it. And Balaam said to the king, Of all the king has counseled against the Hebrews, will they be delivered? And the king will not be able to prevail over, counsel against the Hebrews, will they be delivered? And the king will not be able to prevail over them with any counsel. For if thou thinkest to lessen them by the flaming fire, thou canst not prevail over them. For surely their Elohim delivered Abraham, their father, from Ur of the Chaldeans, and if thou thinkest to destroy them with a sword, surely Yeshach their father was delivered from it, and a ram was placed in his stead. And if with hard and rigorous labor thou thinkest to lessen them, thou wilt not prevail, even in this, for their father Jacob served Laban in all manner of hard work and prospered. Now, therefore, O king, hear my words, for this is the counsel which is counseled against them, by which thou wilt prevail over them, and from which thou shouldest not depart. If it please the king, let him order all their children, which shall be born from this day forward, to be thrown into the water. For by this canst thou wipe away their name. For none of them, nor of their fathers, were tried in this manner. And the king heard the words of Balaam, and the thing pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Balaam. And the king ordered a proclamation to be issued and a law to be made throughout the land of Egypt, saying, every male child born to the Hebrews from this day forward shall be thrown into the water. And Pharaoh called unto all his servants, saying, go now and seek throughout the land of Goshen, where the children of Yasharal are, and see that every son born to the Hebrews shall be cast into the river, but every daughter you shall let live. And when the children of Yasharal heard this thing which Pharaoh had commanded, to cast their male children into the river, some of the people separated from their wives, and others adhered to them. And from that day forward, when the time of the delivery arrived to those women of Yasharal who had remained with their husbands, they went to the field to bring forth there, and they brought forth in the field, and left the children upon the field, and returned home. And Yahuwah, who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them, sent one of his ministering angels, which are in heaven, to wash each child in water, to anoint and swathe it, and put it into its hands. Two smooth stones, from which one it sucked milk, and from the other honey. And he caused its hair to grow to its knees, by which it might cover itself, to comfort it, and to cleave to it through his compassion for it. And when Elohim had compassion over them, and had desired to multiply them, the face of the land, he ordered his earth to receive them, to be preserved therein till the time of their growing up. After which the earth opened its mouth and vomited them forth, and they sprouted forth from the city like the herb of the earth and the grass of the forest. And they returned each to his family in his father's house, and they remained with them. And the babes of the children of Yasharal were upon the earth like the herb of the field, through Elohim's grace to them. And when all the Egyptians saw this thing, they went forth, each to his field, with his yoke of oxen and his plowshares. And they plowed it up, as one plows the earth at seed time. And when they plowed, they were unable to hurt the infants of the children of Yasharal. So the people increased and waxed exceedingly. And Pharaoh ordered his officers daily to go to Goshen to seek for the babes of the children of Yasharal. And when they had sought and found one, they took it from its mother's bosom by force, and they threw it into the river. But the female child they left with its mother. Thus did the Egyptians do to the Yasharalites all the days. And it was at that time, the spirit of Elohim was upon Miriam, the daughter of Amram, the sister of Aharon. And she went forth and prophesied about the house, saying, behold, a son will be born unto us from my father and mother this time, and he will save Yasharal from the hands of Egypt. And when Amram heard the words of his daughter, he went and took his wife back to the house, after he had driven her away at that time when Pharaoh ordered every male child of the house of Jacob to be thrown into the water. So Amram took Jochebed, his wife, 3 years after he had driven her away, And he came to her, and she conceived. And at the end of 7 months from her conception, she brought forth a son. And the whole house was filled with a great light, as the light of the sun and the moon at the time of their shining. And when the woman saw the child, that it was good and pleasing to the sight, she hid it for 3 months in an inner room. And in those days, the Egyptians conspired to destroy all the Hebrews there. And the Egyptian women went to Goshen, where the children of Yasharal were, and they carried their young ones upon their shoulders, their babes who could not yet speak. And in those days, when the women of the children of Yasharal brought forth, each woman had hidden her son from before the Egyptians, that the Egyptians might not know of their bringing forth, and might not destroy them from the land. And the Egyptian women came to Goshen, and their children who could not speak were upon their shoulders. And when an Egyptian woman came into the house of a Hebrew woman, her babe began to cry. And when it cried, the child that was in the inner room answered it. So the Egyptian women went and told it at the house of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh sent his officers to take the children and slay them. Thus did the Egyptians to the Hebrew women all the days. And it was at that time, about 3 months from Jochebed's concealment of her son, that the thing was known in Pharaoh's house. And the woman hastened to take away her son before the officer came. And she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister Miriam stood afar off to know what will be done to him, and what will become of her words. And Elohim sent forth at that time a terrible heat in the land of Egypt, which burned up the flesh of man like the sun in his circuit, and it greatly oppressed the Egyptians. And all the Egyptians went down to bathe in the river on account of the consuming heat which burned up their flesh. And Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, went also to bathe in the river, owing to the consuming heat. And her maidens walked at the riverside, and all the women of Egypt as well. And Bathia lifted up her eyes to the river, and she saw the ark upon the water, and sent her maid to fetch it. And she opened it and saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him. And she said, "This is one of the Hebrew children." And all the women of Egypt walking on the riverside desired to give him suck, but he would not suck. For this thing was from Yahuwah, in order to restore him to his mother's breast. And Miriam, his sister, was at that time amongst the Egyptian women at the riverside. And she saw this thing, and she said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and fetch a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." And the young woman went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to Jochebed, "Take this child away and suckle it for me, and I will pay thee thy wages, 2 bits of silver daily." And the woman took the child and nursed it. And at the end of 2 years, when the child grew up, she brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh, and he was unto her as a son. And she called his name Moshe, or right here it says Moshe. For she said, "Because I drew him out of the water." And Amram, his father, called his name Chabar, for he said it was for him that he associated with his wife whom he had turned away. And Jochebed, his mother, called his name Yekuthiel, sorry, because I'm not putting that J on there. I know that's a Y, so it'd be Yekuthiel. because she said, I have hoped for him to the Almighty, and Elohim restored him unto me. And Miriam, his sister, called him Yarib, for she descended after him to the river to know what his end would be. And Aharon, his brother, called his name Abi Zanuk, saying, my father left my mother and returned to her on his account. And Kahath, the father of Amram, called his name Abigdor, because on his account did Elohim repair the breach of the house of Jacob, and they could no longer throw their male children into the water. And their nurse called him Abi Sacho, saying, in his tabernacle was he hidden for 3 months on account of the children of Ham. And all Yasharal called his name Shemaiah, son of Nathaniel, for they said, in his days has Elohim heard their cries and rescued them from their oppressors. And Moshe was in Pharaoh's house and was unto Bethia, Pharaoh's daughter, as a son. And Moshe grew up amongst the king's children. And the king of Edom died in those days, in the 18th year of his reign, and was buried in his temple which he had built for himself as a royal residence in the land of Edom. And the children of Esau sent to Pethor, which is upon the river, and they fetched from there a young man of beautiful eyes and comely aspect, whose name was Saul. And they made him king over them in the place of Samlah. And Saul reigned over the children of Esau in the land of Edom for 40 years. And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, saw that the counsel which Balaam had advised respecting the children of Yasharal did not succeed, but that still they were fruitful, multiplied, and increased throughout the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh commanded in those days that a proclamation should be ensued throughout Egypt to the children of Yasharal, saying, no man shall diminish anything of his daily labor. And the man who shall be found deficient in his labor, which he performs daily, whether in mortar or in bricks, then his youngest son shall be put in their place. And the labor of Egypt strengthened upon the children of Yasharal in those days. And behold, if one brick was deficient in any man's daily labor, the Egyptians took his youngest boy by force from his mother, and put him into the building in the place of the brick which his father had left wanting. And the men of Egypt did so to the children of Yasharal day by day, in all the days for a long period. But the tribe of Levi did not at that time work with the Yasharalites, their brethren, from the beginning, for the children of Levi knew the cunning of the Egyptians, which they exercised at first toward the Yasharalites. And in the 3rd year from the birth of Moshe, Pharaoh was sitting at a banquet when Alparanith, the queen, was sitting at his right, and Bethia at his left. And the lad Moshe was laying upon her bosom, and Balaam the son of Beor with his 2 sons, and all the princes of the kingdom were sitting at the table in the king's presence. And the lad stretched forth his hand upon the king's head, and took the crown from the king's head and placed it on his own head. And when the king and his princes saw the work which the boy had done, the king and princes were terrified, and no man to his neighbor expressed astonishment. And the king said unto the princes who were before him at the table, what speak you, and what say you, O ye princes, in this matter? And what is to be the judgment against the boy on account of this act? And Balaam, the son of Beor, the magician, answered before the king and princes, and he said, remember now, O my Adonai and king, the dream which thou didst dream many days since, and that which thy servant interpreted unto thee. Now, Therefore, this is a child from the Hebrew children, in whom the spirit of Elohim, or whom is the spirit of Elohim. And let not my Adonai the king imagine that this youngster did this thing without knowledge, for he is a Hebrew boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him. Although he is yet a child, and with wisdom has he done this, and chosen unto himself the kingdom of Egypt. For this is the manner of all the Hebrews, to deceive kings and their nobles, to do all these things cunningly, in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble. Surely thou knowest that Abraham their father acted thus, who deceived the army of Nimrod, king of Babel, and Abimelech, king of Gerar. And he possessed himself of the land of the children of Heth and all the kingdoms of Canaan. That he descended into Egypt and Sarah, and said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister, in order to mislead Egypt and her king. And his son Yishak also did so when he went to Gerar and dwelt there. And his strength prevailed over the army of Abimelech, king of the Philistines. He also thought of making the kingdom of the Philistines stumble, and saying that Rebekah, his wife, was his sister. Jacob also dwelt treacherously with his brother, and took from his hand his birthright and his blessing. And he went then to Padan Aram, to the house of Laban, his mother's brother, and cunningly obtained from him his daughter, his cattle, and all belonging to him, and fled away and returned to the land of Canaan to his father. His sons sold their brother Joseph, who went down to Egypt and became a slave, and was placed in the prison house for 12 years, until the former Pharaoh dreamed dreams, and withdrew him from the prison house, and magnified him above all the princes of Egypt on account of his interpreting his dreams to him. And when Elohim caused a famine throughout the land, he sent for and brought his father and all his brothers and the whole of his father's household, and supported them without price or reward, and bought the Egyptians for slaves. Now, therefore, my Adonai, king, behold, this child has risen up in their stead in Egypt, to do according to their deeds, and to trifle with every king, prince, and judge. If it pleases the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from thy hand, and the hope of Egypt perish after he shall have reigned. And Balaam said to the king, let us moreover call for the judges of Egypt and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as thou didst say, and then we will slay him. And Pharaoh sent and called for his wise men of Egypt, and they came before the king, and an angel of Yahuwah came amongst them, and he was like one of the wise men of Egypt. And the king said to the wise men, surely you have heard what this Hebrew boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Balaam judged in the matter. Now judge you also, and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed. And the angel, who seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, answered and said as follows, before all the wise men of Egypt and before the king and princes, if it pleases the king, let the king send for men who shall bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. If the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the onyx stone, then shall we know that with wisdom has the youth done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretch forth his hand upon the coal, then shall we know that it was not with knowledge that he did this thing, and he shall live. And the thing seemed good in the eyes of the king and the princes. So the king did according to the word of the angel of Yahuwah. And the king ordered the onyx stone and coal to be brought and placed before Moshe. And they placed the boy before them. And the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hand to the onyx stone, but the angel of Yahuwah took his hand and placed it upon the coal, and the coal became extinguished in his hand, and he lifted it up and put it into his mouth, and it burned part of his lips and the part of his tongue, and he became heavy in mouth and tongue. And when the king and the princes saw this, they knew that Moshe had not acted with wisdom in taking off the crown from the king's head. So the king and princes refrained from slaying the child. So Moshe remained in Pharaoh's house, growing up, and Yahuwah was with him. And whilst the boy was in the king's house, he was robed in purple, and he grew amongst the children of the king. And when Moshe grew up in the king's house, Bethia, the daughter of Pharaoh, considered him as a son. And all the household of Pharaoh honored him, and all the men of Egypt were afraid of him. And he daily went forth and came into the land of Goshen, where his brethren, the children of Yasharal, were. And Moshe saw them daily in shortness of breath and hard labor. And Moshe asked them, saying, Wherefore is this labor meted out unto you day by day? And they told him all that had befallen them, and all the injunctions which Pharaoh had put upon them before his birth. And they told him that all the counsels which Balaam the son of Beor had counseled against them, and what he had also counseled against him in order to slay him, when he had taken the king's crown from off his head. And when Moshe heard these things, his anger was kindled against Balaam, and he sought to kill him. And he was in ambush for him day by day. And Balaam was afraid of Moshe. And he and his 2 sons rose up and went forth from Egypt, and they fled and delivered their souls and betook themselves to the land of Cush, to Kikianus, king of Cush. And Moshe was in the king's house, going out and coming in. Yahuwah gave him favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants, and in the eyes of all the people of Egypt. And they loved Moshe exceedingly. And the day arrived when Moshe went to Goshen to see his brethren, that he saw the children of Yasharal and their burdens and hard labor, and Moshe was grieved on their account. And Moshe returned to Egypt, and came to the house of Pharaoh, and came before the king. And Moshe bowed down before the king. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, I pray thee, my Adonai, I have come to seek a small request from thee. Turn not away my face empty. And Pharaoh said unto him, Speak. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, Let there be given unto thy servants, the children of Yasharal, who are in Goshen, one day to rest therein from their labor. And the king answered Moshe and said, Behold, I have lifted up thy face in this thing to grant thy request. And Pharaoh ordered a proclamation to be issued throughout Egypt and Goshen, saying, To you, all the children of Yasharal, thus says the king, For 6 days you shall do your work and labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest, and shall not perform any work. Thus shall you do all the days, as the king and Moshe the son of Bethia have commanded. And Moshe rejoiced at this thing which the king had granted to him. And all the children of Yasharal did as Moshe had ordered them. For this thing was from Yahuwah to the children of Yasharal. For Yahuwah had begun to remember the children of Yasharal, to save them for the sake of their fathers. And Yahuwah was with Moshe, and his fame went throughout Egypt. And Moshe became great in the eyes of all the Egyptians, and in the eyes of all the children of Yasharal, seeking good for his people, Yasharal, and speaking words of peace regarding them to the king. And when Moshe was 18 years old, he desired to see his father and mother, and he went to them to Goshen. And when Moshe had come near Goshen, he came to the place where the children of Yasharal were engaged in work. And he observed their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian smiting one of his Hebrew brethren. And when the man who was beating saw Moshe, he ran to him for help, For the man Moshe was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh. And he said to him, My Adonai, attend to me. This Egyptian came to my house in the night, bound me, and came to my wife in my presence. And now he seeks to take my life away. And when Moshe heard this wicked thing, his anger was kindled against the Egyptian, and he turned this way and the other way. And when he saw there was no man there, he smote the Egyptian and hid him in the sand, and delivered the Hebrew from the hand of him that smote him. And the Hebrew went to his house, and when Moshe returned to his home, and went forth and came back to the king's house. And when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating his wife, for it was not right in the house of Jacob for any man to come to his wife after she had been defiled. And the woman went and told her brothers, and the woman's brothers sought to slay him, and he fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day, Moshe went forth to his brethren and saw, and behold, two men were quarreling, and he said to the wicked one, Why dost thou smite thy neighbor? And on the second, and he answered him and said to him, Who has set thee for a prince and a judge over us? Dost thou think to slay me as thou didst slay the Egyptian? And Moshe was afraid, and he said, Surely the thing is known. And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moshe to be slain. So Elohim sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of a captain of the guard. And the angel of Yahuwah took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard, and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moshe. Excuse me. And the angel of Yahuwah took hold of the right hand of Moshe, and brought him forth from Egypt, and placed him from without the borders of Egypt, a distance of 40 days' journey. And Aharon, his brother, alone remained in the land of Egypt. And he prophesied to the children of Yasharal, saying, Thus says Yahuwah Elohim of your ancestors, throw away each man the abominations of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Egypt. And the children of Yasharal rebelled, and would not hearken to Aharon at that time. And Yahuwah thought to destroy them, were it not that Yahuwah remembered the covenant which he had made with Abraham, Yishak, and Jacob. In those days, the hand of Pharaoh continued to be severe against the children of Yasharal, and he crushed and oppressed them until the time when Elohim sent forth his word and took notice of them. And it was in those days that there was a great war between the children of Cush and the children of the east and Aram, and they rebelled against the king of Cush, whose hands they were. So Kikianus, king of Cush, went forth with the children of Cush, a people numerous as the sand, and he went to fight against Aram and the children of the east, to bring them under subjection. And when Kikianus went out, he left Balaam the magician with his 2 sons to guard the city, and the lowest sort of the people of the land. So Kikianus went forth to Aram and the children of the east, and he fought against them and smote them, and they all fell down wounded before Kikianus and his people. And he took many of them captives, and he brought them under subjection as at first, and he encamped upon their land to take tribute from them as usual. And Balaam the son of Beor, when the king of Cush had left him to guard the city and the poor of the city, he rose up and advised with the people of the land to rebel against King Kikianus, not to let him enter the city when he should come home. And the people of the land hearkened to him, and they swore to him and made him king over them, and his 2 sons for captains of the army. So they rose up and raised the walls of the city at the 2 corners, and they built an exceeding strong building. And at the 3rd corner they dug ditches without number, between the city and the river which surrounded the whole land of Cush. And they made the waters of the rivers burst forth there. In the fourth corner, they collected numerous serpents by their incantations and enchantments, and they fortified the city and dwelt therein. And no one went out or in before them. And Kikianus fought against Aram and the children of the east, and he subdued them as before, and they gave him their usual tribute, and he went and returned to his land. And when Kikianus, the king of Cush, approached his city, and all the captains of the forces with him, they lifted up their eyes and saw that the walls of the city were built up and greatly elevated. So the men were astonished at this. And they said one to the other, it is because they saw that they were delayed in battle and were greatly afraid of us. Therefore have they done this thing and raised the city walls and fortified them, so the kings of Canaan might not come in and battle against them. So the king and the troops approached the city door, and they looked up, and behold, all the gates of the city were closed. And they called out to the sentinels, saying, open unto us, that we may enter the city. But the sentinels refused to open to them by the orders of Balaam the magician, their king. They suffered them not to enter the city. They raised a battle with them opposite the city gate, and 130 men of the army of Kikianus fell on that day. And on the next day they continued to fight, and they fought at the side of the river. They endeavored to pass, but they were not able. So some of them sank in the pits and died. So the king ordered them to cut down trees to make rafts upon which they might pass to them, and they did so. And when they came to the place of the ditches, the waters revolved by mills, and 200 men fell upon 10 rafts and were drowned. And on the third day, they came to fight at the side where the serpents were, but they could not approach there, for the serpents slew of them 170 men. And they ceased fighting against Cush, and they besieged Cush for 9 years, for no person came out or in. At that time, the war and the siege were against Cush. Moshe fled from Egypt from Pharaoh, who sought to kill him for having slain the Egyptian. And Moshe was 18 years old when he fled from Egypt from the presence of Pharaoh. And he fled and escaped to the camp of Kikianus, which at that time was besieging Cush. And Moshe was 9 years in the camp of Kikianus, king of Cush. All the time that they were besieging Cush, and Moshe went out and came in with them. And the king and princes and all the fighting men loved Moshe, for he was great and worthy. His stature was like a noble lion. His face was like the sun, and his strength was like that of a lion. And he was counselor to the king. And at the end of 9 years, Kikianus was seized with a mortal disease, and his illness prevailed over him, and he died on the 7th day. So his servants embalmed him and carried him and buried him opposite the city gate to the north of the land of Egypt. And they built over him an elegant, strong, and high building, and they placed great stones below. And the king's scribes engraved upon the stones all the might of their king Kikianus and all his battles which he had fought, and behold, they are written there at this day. Now after the death of Kikianus, king of Cush, it grieved his men and troops greatly on account of the war. So they said one to the other, give us counsel. What are we to do at this time, as we have resided in the wilderness 9 years away from our homes? If we say we will fight against the city, many of us will fall wounded or killed. And if we remain here in the siege, we shall also die. For now, all the kings of Aram and the children of the east will hear that our king is dead, and they will attack us suddenly in a hostile manner. and they will fight against us and leave no remnant of us. Now therefore let us go and make a king over us, and let us remain in the siege until the city is delivered up to us. And they wished to choose on that day a man for king from the arm of Kikianus, and they found no object of their choice like Moshe to reign over them. And they hastened and stripped off each man his garment and cast them upon the ground. And they made a great heap and placed Moshe therein, or thereon. And they rose up and blew with trumpets and called out before him and said, May the king live, may the king live. And all the people and nobles swore unto him to give for him a wife, Adoniah, the queen, the Cushite, wife of Kikianus. And they made Moshe king over them on that day. And all the people of Cush issued a proclamation on that day, saying, Every man must give something to Moshe of what is in his possession. And they spread out a sheet upon the heap, and every man cast into it something of what he had, one a gold earring, and the other a coin, also of onyx stones, bdellium, pearls, and marble. Did the children of Cush cast unto Moshe upon the heap, also silver and gold in great abundance. And Moshe took all the silver and gold, all the vessels, and the bdellium and onyx stones, which all the children of Cush had given to him, and he placed them amongst his treasures. And Moshe reigned over the children of Cush on that day, and in that place, or in the place of Kikianus, king of Cush. In the 55th year of the reign of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that is the 157th year of the Yasharites going down to Egypt, reigned Moshe in Cush. Moshe was 27 years old when he had began to reign over Cush. In 40 years he did reign. And Yahuwah granted Moshe favor and grace in the eyes of all the children of Cush. And the children of Cush loved him exceedingly. So Moshe was favored by Yahuwah and by men. And in the seventh day of his reign, all the children of Cush assembled and came before Moshe and bowed down to him to the ground. And all the children spoke together in the presence of the king, saying, Give us counsel that we may see what is to be done to this city. For it is now 9 years that we have been besieging round the city, and have not seen our children and our wives. So the king answered them, saying, If you will hearken to my voice and all that I shall command you, then will Yahuwah give the city unto your hands, and we shall subdue it. For if we fight with them, as in the former battle which we had with them before the death of Kikianus, many of us will fall down wounded as before. Now, therefore, behold, here is counsel for you in this matter. If you will hearken to my voice, then will the city be delivered into our hands. So all the forces answered the king, saying, All that our Adonai shall command, that we will do. And Moshe said unto them, Pass through, and proclaim a voice in the whole camp unto all the people, saying, Thus says the king, Go into the forest, and bring with you one of the young ones of the stork, each man a young one in his hand. And any person transgressing the word of the king, who shall not bring his young one, he shall die. And the king will take all belonging to him. And when you shall bring them, they shall be in your keeping. You shall rear them until they grow up, and you shall teach them to dart upon as the way of the young ones of the hawk. So all the children of Cush heard the words of Moshe, and they rose up and caused a proclamation to be issued throughout the camp, saying, Unto you, all the children of Cush, the king's order is that you all go together to the forest and catch there the young storks, each man his young one in his hand, and you shall bring them home. And any person violating the order of the king shall die, and the king will take all that belongs to him. And all the people did so, and they went out to the wood, and they climbed the fir trees, and caught each man a young one in his hand, all the young of the storks, and they brought them into the desert, and reared them by order of the king, and they taught them to dart upon, similar to the young hawks. And after the young storks were reared, the king ordered them to be hungered for 3 days, and all the people did so. And on the third day the king said unto them, Strengthen yourselves, and become valiant men, and put on each man his armor, and gird on his sword upon him, and ride each man his horse, and take each his young stork in his hand. And we will rise up and fight against the city, at the place where the serpents are. And all the people did as the king had ordered. Excuse me. And they took each man his young one in his hand, and they went away. And they came to the place where the serpents. The king said to them, Send forth each man his young stork upon the serpents. And they sent forth each man his young stork at the king's order. And the young storks ran upon the serpents, and they devoured them all, and destroyed them out of that place. And when the king and people had seen that all the serpents were destroyed in that place, all the people set up a great shout. And they approached and fought against the city, and took it, and subdued it. And they entered the city. And there died on that day 1,100 men of the people of the city, all that inhabited the city, but of the people besieging, not one died. So all the children of Cush went each to his home, to his wife and children, and all belonging to him. And Balaam the magician, when he saw that the city was taken, he opened the gate, and he and his 2 sons and 8 brothers fled and returned to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They are the sorcerers and magicians who are mentioned in the book of the law, standing against Moshe when Yahuwah brought the plagues upon Egypt. So Moshe took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Cush placed him on the throne instead of Kikianus, king of Cush. And they placed the royal crown upon his head, and they gave him for a wife Adoniah, the Cushite queen, wife of Kikianus. And Moshe feared Yahuwah Elohim of his fathers, so that he came not to her, nor did he turn his eyes to her. For Moshe remembered how Abraham had made his servant Eliezer swear, saying unto him, Thou shalt not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan for my son Yishak. Also, what Yishak did when Jacob had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of the children of Ham. For Yahuwah our Elohim gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his children and all his seed as slaves to the children of Shem, and to the children of Japheth, and under their seed after them for slaves forever. Therefore Moshe turned not his heart nor his eyes to the wife of Kikianus all the days that he reigned over Cush. And Moshe feared Yahuwah, his Elohim, all his life. And Moshe walked before Yahuwah in truth, with all his heart and soul. And he turned not from the right way all the days of his life. He declined not from the way either to the right or to the left, in which Abraham, Yishak, and Jacob had walked. And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Cush, and he guided the children of Cush with his usual wisdom, and Moshe prospered in his kingdom. And at that time, Aram, the children of the east, heard that Kikianus, king of Cush, had died. So Aram, the children of the east, rebelled against Cush in those days. And Moshe gathered all the children of Cush, a people very mighty, about 30,000 men, and he went forth to fight with Aram and the children of the east. And when they went, at first the children of the east, and when the children of the east heard their report, they went to meet them and engaged in battle with them. And the war was severe against the children of the east. So Yahuwah gave all the children of the east into the hand of Moshe, and about 300 men fell down slain. And all the children of the east turned back and retreated. So Moshe and the children of Cush followed them and subdued them and put a tax upon them, as was their custom. Okay. So Moshe and all the people with him passed from there to the land of Aram for battle. And the people of Aram also went to meet them, and they fought against them. And Yahuwah delivered them into the hand of Moshe, and many of the men of Aram fell down wounded. And Aram also were subdued by Moshe and the people of Cush, and also gave their usual tax. And Moshe brought Aram and the children of the east under subjection to the children of Cush. And Moshe and all the people who were with him turned to the land of Cush. And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom, and the children of Cush, and Yahuwah was with him, and all the children of Cush were afraid of him. All right. Yeah, I was trying to pay very good close attention to how many chapters I was reading tonight, family. Because yeah, last time, like I ended up burning through 10 chapters real quick and didn't even know it. Oh goodness. So obviously some of the things that we could see from I think we got into some of the roots before roots scriptures, but I think there's still a couple more on the way. And so I definitely want to make sure y'all are prepared for that. Also, something that I very much like about it here that we just got done reading was the fact that Uncle Moshe, he had reigned in Cush for 40 years, and that was, wow, that was something a little different that I didn't know from the regular scripts as well. Excuse me. But the other thing that kind of stands out, like ever since Jasher brought out Balaam and started talking about him, you can just see how conniving and snaky, just man, that dude, he trifling. He trifling as all get out. And ever since the word talks about Balaam, like everywhere Balaam go, it's like he just conniving is all get out. So I think I can't wait till we see the end of him. But let me go ahead and check back through some of these comments right quick.
Man, the chat is jumping, man.
I see. I'm like,
man, we had something up, man. Look, we like as you bringing the word out, reminding people about certain, what I'm saying, certain dialogue, and it's just jumping. It's just like Rouse, like story time, story time with Rouse, man.
Yeah, I'm having to go back through. I'm seeing some of the
some very good questions are coming up, man.
Yeah, we got to go back through these questions, and
we got to pull some of them up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna scroll way back up. Let's see here. Goodness. Let's see here.
One of the recent ones was I think Miss B, Sister Miss B, she asks she wonders where the children of Balaam is. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull that one on that. Because when I saw that, I know exactly what you was talking about. I know exactly what you mean too. Like, on. Yeah, right here. Like, I wonder where them, man, some of them is probably I'm gonna be careful about this. And so Like, oh man, like me and the Most High, we got this relationship, all right. So I get the wanting to say something, like I wanted to say something, and then I got convicted to like not say it how I was gonna say it because I could be wrong. But come on, Father. All right, so I guess he'll allow me this one. So we can see that some of these TD Snake type characters could I could possibly see them as being, descendants of Balaam, probably. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of them out there, and I don't know them all by name, but I do recognize some of the ones that's out there, the ones you see on CNN and MSNBC all the time,
Yeah.
and they constantly being the so-called voice of the black preachers, you know what I'm saying, or Hebrew preachers, or the black church, you know what I'm saying, but they always talking at the side of their neck to begin with.
I definitely could see that too. And I'm not even gonna say just them, I think some of the, I mean, if we, like Ross said, just give us some allowance here. We not saying Dow says this is, you know what I mean?
Right. Like
But,
I'm not trying to say the Most High telling me that TD Jakes is the descendant, but I'm
well,
just
I,
saying
I think some of these, I think
his
some of
type
these,
for sure.
yeah, some of these cool cats that just be luring our people into foolishness. You know what I mean? That promote the foolishness. You know what I mean? Might have something to do with it because that came up in the chat too. Shoot, I think it might have been Miss B again said, I think we're still dealing with Bell right now. And I said, and I responded, I said, I think so, in a way, because Balaam's strategy was get them to curse each other.
That's Sister Lynn Bernard right here. The fortune of the council of Balaam still persists today. It
Right.
sure
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. And it's
They
like,
sure do.
because his strategy was get them to curse each other. And, in some ways, they're still doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're getting back to trying to, you know what I'm saying, come together. And the awakening is doing a good job with us now. But,
Too late. Yep.
I mean, like you say all the time, healing our hood, man, that's a task.
That's
We
the
need to do
task
that.
is to heal
Yeah.
our hood, but we got these man,
Yeah.
the
We got these
coonery
folk
is just
around.
too
Yeah.
daggone real, man.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. It is so disgusting. Like, oh man, like so some of y'all remember that I serve tables, right? And so I've been serving tables almost 14 years. Now I've done plenty of other things. I have plenty of construction and concrete, brick, block, and stone under my belt. I got roofing and plumbing and all kinds of things that I've been able to do. But for the last 14 years, I've been serving tables. And so I've came across and I've served so many thousands of people. And like I've served some famous people, some rich people, some former football players, basketball players, people that I mean got stupid amounts of money and everything from the brokest of the broke to the people that are just stupid rich, and sometimes you come across people at these tables and I've served some Balaam types. I've had to serve some Balaam types, where and I'm trying to be careful in talking about this because you'll have one of them brothers or sisters at the table, and they all the rest of the table is all gentiled out, but this one over here got to make sure that everybody knows that he's on the team. He or she, that they're down for the team, that they're down for that team over there on that side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got to talk a certain way and they got to treat folks a certain kind of way. And those ones, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Father, please forgive me, but man, they make me sick. They make me sick to my stomach, I'm telling you. And I be sitting there be wanting to, oh man, like I know my place, all right? I know I'm supposed to be taking care of folks and things like that. But when I see these bougie, boule, man, when I see them like that and the way they whole character, their demeanor comes off, man, it's disgusting.
Brother Ross, look down at the chat, man. they they talk about Al Sharpton. What you think? What you
Oh,
think?
of course, Al Sharpton, one of them people. Oh man, man,
So,
oh man,
I was crying laughing, but I
man,
was trying to put my mic on mute. What you guys, sis? What you got?
that remind I don't hold on real quick. I don't know if y'all ever got a chance to see it. The I can't even condone watching it. No daggone more. It's a bad thing. Is that the cartoon? It was called the Freaknik. The cartoon. It was some years and years old. It was the hip hopper or whatever. And the way they made fun of Al Sharpton, they had him looking. They had him. They had the robot version of Al Sharpton. They called him the Perminator. Oh my goodness! See, and once again, I can't even condone watching it no more because it's too much cussing. It's too much of all kinds of just set up propaganda to be like, this is what we are, but this is what we not are. You know what I'm saying? This ain't who we is. We just keep falling in those traps. It's all traps in that thing. With the Perminator, that just, man. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, sis.
All right, so I don't know if anybody caught this, but the women in Egypt only carried their children for 7 months and then hid them for 3 months, making a total of 10 months. The average time for us is 10 months from conception to delivery for a healthy birth. Why did it only take them 7 months to have a child? That's a question I have. And then what I also noticed was, I have some notes. What I do with them? You got this baby. How old was he when he was on the throne and put this crown on his head? And how old?
Like 2 or 3.
2 or 3 years old. And their assumption even then was that Hebrew children don't just do things. They're all very smart, basically, at that age. So this had to be something that this child consciously did and not self-consciously did. And I also noticed even in that time, they were having children at 100+ years old. Ladies, please tell me how many of us want to make babies at 100? Oh, I mean, not just making babies, but having babies at 100. Man, it was really amazing to listen to that. 7 months, you have a baby nowadays. At 7 months, the child is considered premature.
She said, not I. Not, not me. Not going down. Not happening. You better chalk that idea out the way. But,
Me personally, when my daughter turned 13, I had a neighbor. She had 2 kids. One was in 12th grade, one was in 11th grade, and she was pregnant. 3 months later, I got my tubes tied. I was like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm good. So, and that was like at 38 years old. So I definitely couldn't imagine like more than like 50 years later having some more.
Yeah. That's wild. I was paying attention to that. 129 years old. Daggone Jacobed.
Yeah, that's definitely a cornerstone. How you say that, sis?
Oh yeah.
My hip would literally fall out of socket. I would have all type of muscle spasms. My knee would dislocate. I can't see it happening.
No, but what did the Bible say? The Bible said them Hebrew women was different. Remember?
Go ahead, sis. Said I was 40 when I had my youngest. Go ahead.
Get it, girl.
Go ahead.
My ex-husband's was a a child of older parents. I think his mother was 42 when he had him, when she had him.
But like the script said, you know, the Hebrew women ain't like the Egyptian women.
Yeah. I know my grandmother. My grandmother had twins at 40. I don't know how she did that. My grandmother, my daddy's mom, had twins at 40.
You know, I don't think it's this physical part. I mean, it is partially the physical part, but you know, just the rearing of children at that age, the emotional roller coaster that you go on with your children. I mean, granted, maybe then they didn't have postpartum depression or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean, these are things that we deal with right now. And let's not talk about the simple fact that how many 129-year-old women are still alive. You know, in this day and age, I mean, it's literally impossible.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the pollution that's either in the food and air and everything else too. That's why we just ain't hold on, Vinci Low, pain free babies. There's some of them. There's some women out there. I'm telling you.
I didn't. The first one I had an epidural with, and I couldn't feel anything. So when I had my next baby, I decided that I wouldn't take anything. And I mean, it was a more enjoyable delivery for me personally. I'd rather have gone through those labor pains than to have not. I mean, I can equate it to, just constipation, a bad period, but nothing like you see on television. I didn't feel that, or it wasn't as dramatic as all of that.
Yeah, brother Black Gold got back to the question though that you were talking about. This wisdom. You know, they mean the break from the epidural and the intrathecal talk and
Oh, you're fine.
Man, I was there for a lot of my children's births, and I'm telling you, I was everything under the sun besides a good dude. Man, I'm up in there trying to give them pillows, ice, and everything else, and trying to
Well, see,
take
you had the dramatic television version of that. I mean, I
Nah, I'm telling you, I was everything under the sun besides a good dude. I had the television. Nah.
I mean, that's what you see on television. My first one, my mother, my father, my son's father, and my dad's current wife, we were all in the labor and delivery room together giving birth to this baby. And then with my youngest one, I kind of went into labor while my husband was over the road truck driving. He was about 4 hours away, and literally, as they put her in the swaddling clothing and put her next to the door, he walked in the door and said, "Is that ours?" And I'm looking at him like, "Well, who else, baby, is it?" But other than that, nothing. I think I preferred doing it by myself that time. Very different scenarios.
Yeah, Salama, daughter of Zion, says sleep is calling. Baruch, family. All right,
Um,
family. I understand, sis. But yeah, I wanted to get right back to this part right here. Well, I mean, it's like we got two bits of conversations that is good when we're talking about all this stuff.
mhm.
And it's like I don't want to detract away from
No,
our labor stories because these man, there's
you're
funny
good.
stories.
All right.
But like we were talking about with this wisdom, the assumption was because Balaam knew of the Hebrews or knew of Hebrews, he knew they were connected to the divine, and he was known for giving nations advice specifically on the Hebrews. LOL custom of the Mad Hatter, you know what I'm saying? So he was Pretty much, yeah. I agree with you, fam. Like, yeah, he was like the Mad Hatter, just running around constantly giving advice on how to deal with the Hebrews, on how to try to punish them, kill them off, and everything else. And I be still wondering, like, what his whole beef was with us to begin with.
All right, but I was trying to find that connection too, brother, because remember he gave Pharaoh the information, like the backdrop on us. Remember he was telling Pharaoh about how Abraham was thrown in the fire, and the fire didn't the fire didn't overcome him, and he was just telling them about how just all our struggles. He started from there and he went all the way down to he went all the way down. I think he went all the way down to Joseph about how Joseph was in prison and that didn't overcome. He was trying to tell Pharaoh, but he was trying to tell Pharaoh that nothing would overcome us, because basically, coming to go on war with us was like going to war with the Most High. But in a sense, that's a good question, because in a sense, where did he gain all that knowledge about us? Because he didn't just run the story. He went all the way down to, we was just reading Jasher. Some of us didn't even know Abraham was in the fire before reading Jasher. You know what I mean? He ran all that down. So how did he gain that information? You know what I mean? Or was that information just like flying around like news?
And like Miss B said, he seemed obsessed with us. Now, and still, hold on, right there. And still, both these comments back to back, they still know the power we have in our Elohim. That is why they are terrified of this awakening. Terrified.
Yeah, I agree.
Still. Show enough. Exactly, sis. Show enough. And then I'm trying to remember exactly when we was reading back here when Balaam even came up on the scene. And I'm trying to remember, I think it was right around, I want to say Esau and them. Goodness, because we had just read this like a couple nights ago when Balaam actually came up on the scene. And he was like, I don't know, what was he, like 14 years old or something like that?
Right. And another thing about him too, though, he was like a hood hop too, in a way. Because did he go from Canaan to Egypt? Then didn't he end up,
in Chittim,
all the way down there?
Matter of fact, he was rolling with. Now, matter of fact, I think Balaam, when he came in on the scene, he was rolling with Angeas at first. At first, he was with Angeas. At Rawls, what? You hater! What are you talking about? What are you talking about, family? Okay, I got you, family. Oh man, my bad, family. See, you didn't have nothing. I'm gonna leave you alone on that one. I'm gonna leave you alone.
I wanted to say something too, but I thought it was a new slang. Me,
yeah, something like that. Man, okay. Yeah, I got you.
But you gotta understand. You've been reading this whole time. You've been busting up all kind of words.
Man, some of these words is hard, man. But yeah. Okay. So Balaam, he came on the scene with Angeas, and then when Angeas and them, this is right after the G fight, as a matter of fact, at the cave. All right. And then when Esau's sons had ended up going to war with, it was like a quad meetup of, you got Esau's sons, the Ishmaelites, the Midianites, and then the children of Seir, or the Horites, all going to war with each other, like two on two tag teaming one of them goes down, and then goes under control of the other one, under the children of Esau or whatever, or the children of Seir, and then they asked for help to fight back against the ones that, oh no, man, Moabites was in on this too. Daggone. So Balaam, he did hood hop, man. He went from one losing side to the next to the one other winning side. He was always trying to be where the winning side was at.
He was just trying to be on the winning side. He was always he like the bandwagoners, you know. Yeah.
And then what's messed up is I think when word got out that Moshe found out about Balaam being responsible for almost having him killed as a child, and then all the everything else that that Balaam had, counseled against Yasharal. You know what I'm saying? All that. All of that, and then with the cherry on top of being responsible for almost having Moses killed, Uncle Moshe was like, "Oh no, I'm going to do him in." And once that information got out, Balaam was terrified, and he dipped. Him and his sons, he dipped and ran off the Cush. And then once Moses shows up with on the side of Kikianus, trying to win back the city, and then once they do finally take the city back, and he finds out, oh, that's Moshe right there. Oh no.
Right. Yeah. I think Moses was trying to step on that boy, man. Yeah, I mean, but it's you find out a lot of stuff that's not in Genesis. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Not in Genesis, not in the Exodus story, because we in Exodus now.
I got you. Okay, I got you.
But it's just a lot of big details that's left out of out of the 66. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. You know what I mean? When you sit there and really dwell on it, because that's how we just have all these conversations and dialogues coming up in the text, because it's like all this different information that's coming out, it makes you understand, it makes you clearly understand the Bible better once you get the whole story, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so ready. So when, you know what I'm saying, when you say you ready to go to Jubilees after this, I'm so ready, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I can't wait for that one. I mean, because it's going to revisit back across some of these scriptures, but from another angle. But then also, we're going to get back into the creation story again, the beginning of Jubilees. But at the real beginning of Jubilees is the part that I want to read all of it, because I haven't read all of Jubilees just yet. And I think on my own personal reading, matter of fact, I was reading with you, sis, when we were reading together, whatever. I think we were just after the Cain and Abel.
Man, I'm looking at the chat, man. I'm bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
I need to mute my mic while I'm reading this stuff, man. Your boy Black Gold is going off, man.
Yeah, he do, man. That's my dude. That's my bro right there, man. That's my bro right there, man. Oh yeah, sure enough. But yeah, I think it was just we got just a little after Cain and Abel. Not too far after that from in Jubilees, but Jubilees doesn't even start off with the creation story. It starts off from, us getting the law, and then also all kinds of prophecies that is going to be foretold about us forgetting everything. So I can't wait. I don't want to get too far into it already. When we're just now getting like halfway, we're at the midway point pretty much. We're a little past midway, because I think there's 100 chapters, and we're right now at 73. We're going to 74. So I say we probably got about a couple more days of reading, and then we'll have Jasher completed, and then we'll go on into Jubilees after that. And I definitely want to go into Baruch. I want to go into Maccabees, Ezra. I want to go into all the scripts that they took away from us. I want to go into Tobit. I want to go into all kinds of stuff that I've never read before. All these good books I've never read before.
Yeah, this is definitely just to hear it being read, man. Just the word of the Most High, it brings so much dialect and fellowship going on that, you know, we finally had these conversations that need to be had, you know what I mean, amongst our community. And then, you know, when we leave from here, those conversations, we end up taking those conversations with us and having witness people, and we you know what I'm saying, we get a better understanding, you know what I mean? Like in the comments, I think somebody had said, I didn't know Moses was king of the Cushites. Neither did I until I read Jasher, you know what I mean? Like, so reading this is definitely like, you know what I mean, like just having the word, you know what I mean? Because it's bringing up so much dialogue that, you know, that we need to really have to, you know, to heal, you know what I mean? We really need this to heal. Like I'm in a whole totally, but I know you kind of hear it now, Brother Ross. I'm in a totally better mood than what I was when I started off, you know what I mean? Like the word does something, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these comments now too. I'm going back up.
Yeah, it is jumping. It is
yeah,
jumping.
I'm saying because we were talking about back when I was talking about how Moshe was going to get Balaam, and then my bro was like, my favorite part is is Moses lurking in the palace corners trying to get him. Like I felt him. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, like you have no idea how you got it coming, bro. Like you have no idea how you got it coming, messing with my people like that, and you almost got me killed. Oh man, no, you got to go. Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, man, this chat has been jumping. All of y'all, man, love y'all, man. Showing up, showing up. Can't wait. Oh man, I can't wait to get in some of these deeper scripts. But yeah, this is all a blessing, all honor, praise, and glory to the Most High Yah for everything. The fellowship, the testimonies, the comments, the laughter, you know, being able to take a lot of these serious situations in life and being able to find a way to laugh about them in some way, shape, or form, or finding a way to laugh afterwards, at least. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. And I'm very, 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 very appreciative of it. You know what I'm saying? And that, yeah, this is a safe place. This place right here is a safe place where we can talk about our follies and our flaws and things like that. And it's ain't no holier than now folks up in here. It ain't going down like that. I don't play that for nothing. Because I know exactly what it's like to need forgiveness. I know what it's like for me to need forgiveness. Like I said before, when I woke up to who I am, what I am, knowing that there's so much more for me to do, I am one of those people that woke up to shame of the shame of my sins, is what I mean by that. You know, so there's different types of shame that I guess people wake up to, but in my perspective, I woke up to the shame of the sins that I committed, and that I have work to do. I have repenting to do, and it's not that these works are going to save me. I'm saved by the blood of the Most High Yah, by the blood of Yeshua. You know, it's not the works that I do that are going to save me. It's the work that I'm doing right now is to reach back out because I was given kingdom money. I was given a testimony, you know, and there's something I'm supposed to do with all this. And that's why I do it. It's to help to help bring that transparency back to our kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So like the old saying goes, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, how do you think the village raised the children? On testimonies of, you know, either stories of our ancestors or stories of their family members, or well, I had a cousin that did this, or I had a niece or a nephew, they was doing that, and they got them in this kind of trouble. And they was telling that to you, you know, to you, you know what I'm saying, trying to raise you up right. You know, all these things. So this is how the the villagers raising the children, and not only that, but community spankings, community whoopings was woo. That'll get everybody get checked. Oh man, that just brings up memories, boy. Like Newark, Ohio, Boylston Avenue. I'm trying to tell you, like, man, like my neighbors, like way down the block, like about a block and a half, 2 blocks down the street, we get caught cutting up down the street. That neighbor would yank you up by your hair or your ear, your collar, and whoop you all the way home, whoop you all the way back to your house, and deliver you back to your parents. And somehow, some way, my parents had this magical radar. They knew how long that the whooping that they was fixing to give me needed to take in order for that neighbor to get all the way back to their own house. So then after they whooped me in-house, they would whoop me right back up the block to that neighbor's house, make me apologize for getting caught cutting up in the first place, and then whooped all the way back home again. So, as a public example of what not to do. So, I mean, yeah, that ear was the worst. Yeah, snag you by your ear and had that thing all twisted up with a super kung fu grip too. Like, there ain't not amount of sweat you could ever sweat to allow to slip their
Right.
fingers off their
Right. Once they grab that ear, you scared to laugh,
Man, you can't do nothing. Oh goodness. But yeah, that and then still getting whooped all the way home. These are the kind of things that need to return. And these are the things that probably will end up returning once we get back to the land. Because we know good and well, these people in this land, they ain't cut for it. That's why we got these leaders acting the way they acting right now. You know what I'm saying? All these, I don't know what you want to call them, but you can tell by the rules they implement, the laws that they pass, that they wanted them kids, that they either never got their butt whooped, or when they did get their butt whooped, they was probably one of the same kids that would run go call the police.
Yeah,
and right. Telling on their parents for getting their whooping.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, hold on. Moses on the job behind the chair.
I goodness. Focus with that, man. I had to put my phone down, man. It's going crazy, man. Oh, man. Moses was about that life.
Oh, yeah. Even with the Jerry curl juice all over your ear, you still had the grip. So no. Oh my goodness, I love y'all family. Oh, I needed this for real.
Right.
We all needed this. Yeah. We all need this laughter. You know what I'm saying? It is good medicine. All praise to the Most High Yah for all this fellowship, all this good laughter. It's like, oh man, definitely.
What you got, sis? Sis being quiet today.
Hey, sis. We talking
I'm here. I'm just listening to y'all. Go ahead.
Well, I'll go ahead and mute for a second. The way you can get your chuckles on too. I know you guys got some up your sleeve.
No, I don't got nothing in my sleeve tonight. I'm being easy.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and cut everything off here in a couple seconds. But I definitely want to go ahead and take us out in prayer before we either play a couple tunes, because I end up cutting this list back, and so I don't have that many songs on this list at the moment. But let's go ahead and definitely go ahead and get into prayer and give the Most High his thanks and praise for everything that we've been going through tonight. So, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings you've given us and the blessings that you will give. And most importantly, thank you for the love that you gave us to save us. And dear Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you so much. We lift you and exalt you. We praise you, Father, for everything, especially this fellowship that is just, it's groundbreaking. It really, really is, and we can only hope and pray that somebody watches this message and gets a chance to see this fellowship, how we need to operate in the kingdom, how we're learning to operate in the kingdom. And even if we don't have it perfect right at this very, very second, you are at least delivering to us the instructions on how things are going to be, the changes that need to be made. And we will make these changes, Father, because we want to please you. We love you, Father, and we thank you for everything that you're showing us and everything that you have shown us, because you've been teaching some of our brothers and sisters things that you haven't taught us at this moment. And it gives us a chance to come together and share it with each other so we can all learn and grow together. That village raising each other, that village raising these children together. We thank you for it, Father. We praise you for everything, Father, everything you've given us and everything you've taken away from us, Father. But we definitely thank you for the wisdom that you've given us tonight and the laughter you've been able to give us, even through our trials and tribulations. So in Yahushua holy name, we pray that we get to come back again, learn more, heal our hoods, heal our households, and start, healing us from the inside out, so that we can do this work, and give this kingdom money up just the way you said. In Yahushua holy name, we pray. Amen.
Hallelujah. All
Hallelujah.
praise.
Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High.
Oh, yeah. I got to see some of these comments right quick. It's been a blessing. And my brother, man, oh, man, I love the fact that my brother's been showing up lately right here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out Black Gold, man.
Yeah, shout out Black Gold. Yeah, I can't wait because, if y'all are not on Hebrew Sphere yet, I know everybody here, I believe everybody here is definitely on Hebrew Sphere, but for those of y'all out there that happen to watch this later, and if you're not on Hebrew Sphere yet, definitely sign up to Hebrew Sphere. And for those of y'all that even are on Hebrew Sphere and don't know, definitely come check out the book club and some of the books inside there, some of the other books that we definitely want to go across, because at another time, I definitely want to pull back up Gad the Seer. And that's a study that my brother Black Gold has been going over. And he's been definitely, he encouraged me to read it. And so I definitely, once again, salute, shout out to my brother Black Gold. And he's got some things coming up, you know what I'm saying, as far as like some studies in the book club over on Hebrew Sphere. Nothing like huge. I don't know what he's got going on. I can't speak for the man, but all I do know is the man got some good things going on. The Most High is leading him in a good way. So definitely, that's right. Shout out to the book club.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Shout out to the book club on Hebrew Sphere. That's right. It is good to read. Reading is beautiful and it's fun. It really is. And especially like when you can learn to put your emotion into it, it makes a story that much better, so much more better. It really does help paint the picture and helps us all grow.
Yeah, reading is power, man. Reading is power. When I said that, thing about it, reading breaks the chains on a lot of stuff. If you really, just don't really know where to go with it, you know what I mean? But reading actually breaks the chains on a lot of stuff. They kept a lot of stuff from us through books. We wasn't reading, and it was illegal for us to read. And nowadays I saw him on I think it was Facebook book. What did the meme say? The meme said, what did the meme? I'm trying to think how it said. It said it was illegal for us to read. Now that we free and can read, some of us still won't read. It was something like that, but they made it more funnier. But I was just like, man, how true is that? You know what I mean? Like nowadays, people don't even read. They walk around it, but they don't understand that scrolling on that timeline. Like on Facebook, on Cool Book, just scrolling on that timeline like people be doing, you're reading. If you could read a meme, you read somebody's status, you're reading. But they won't go read no research, you know what I mean? They won't go farther than that and read, But reading breaks chains. That's what got me where I was, you know what I mean? I had to read. When I got in that book and started reading, man, because it ain't nothing like seeing it for yourself. You can have as many of you as you want, like getting in that book and seeing it for yourself, and that's why it's such a real big deal what you're doing, Brother Rouse. Reading this to us, you know what I mean? Like it don't get. I mean, it don't get on that because nowadays people that's what they need to do. Get one of them audio books. You know what I'm saying? It'll help them there with, you know.
I mean, and I ain't knocking nobody either, because my older brother, man, shout out to my older brother. I still love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. Um, he's one of those folks that, don't really like reading, rather have it being read to you or have like an audio book. Some people out there is just like that.
Right.
Reading puts them to sleep. Unfortunately, that's a spirit that comes across us, and we don't know how to get that one up off of there. Yeah, Gad is going to be amazing. Can't wait to get I can't wait to read that out loud too for a lot of people that have not read that book. And so that's gonna be off the chain. I can't wait for that one.
What is Gad? See, y'all got me interested. What is
Gad the Seer?
Gad the Seer?
Gad the Seer. It's a really good read. Really good read. Matter of fact, go into log into Hebrew Sphere when you get a chance. Go into the book club. As a matter of fact, I saw what y'all just got done posting up on there, and I could have sworn we tagged Minister Dante in that post about the group pages being inactive. So hopefully Minister Dante is getting those things taken care of, or those little glitches taken care of, where we can get back into those group pages and things. But but yeah, if you're able to get into the book club right now, go into the book club and look for the discussionary post where it's talking about the Gad the Seer, and that PDF should be in there. So definitely go check that out. If you have not had a chance to check that out, I think I have that PDF on my phone because I know I downloaded it and I was reading it and I'm almost done with it. But I definitely got to pull that back up and put it on the PC that way we can go back over it. Oh yeah, please read Issachar. Okay, got you. Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait, man. Like, as much as I know I need to do more reading in my independent time, I gotta be honest. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can, I don't throw stones or nothing like that. Help a brother out. Pray for me, because lately I've been using this time right here reading with y'all as being my personal reading time, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, let me know. It's all cool. I'm a big dude. I can take it. You know what I'm saying? So if you know good and well that I need some more reading in my own personal time outside of just this, go ahead and put it up in there. Encourage your brother to get that fire back in my bones to read in my own personal time outside of just right here. Because I very much love reading with y'all. I do. I love it. But as far as using this time as my personal reading time, I'm on the fence with that. You know what I'm saying? So either way it goes, let your brother know, if this is acceptable to use this time as my personal reading time, or if I need to be making more time in my day to day to still do more independent reading. Go and let your boy know, no matter what, because I need that fire in my bones. I do not want to fall away.
Hey, brother, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna be truthfully honest with you. I mean, I'm right chill with you. Right chill with you with the using the reading time, because I drive all day. And most of the time I got my headphones on and I'm doing my, I'm driving. I got my headphones on and I might have a Pastor Darby video playing, or a Dante video playing, or whoever come on today. You know what I mean? Like, I know everybody like that. Like, whoever come on today carries early in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I rock all day. You know what I'm saying? So when I get home and we got a show, that's gonna be my reading time. That is gonna be my reading time. I'm right here following with you, and everything, but it's just like you're sharing it, your reading time with us. You know what I mean? Like, why not have your reading time with, you know, all these other voices that could sit there and that's coming all kind of different kind of ways than the way you just looking at it, you know? I mean, but in the same sense, you know, I do need I confess I do need to get my reading back up to where it was when I first had my awakening. I do need to get back to that place. And this is actually helping me because, you know, I'm figuring out some stuff that I might have kind of looked over in Jasher. You know, I probably didn't pay attention to it as much as I should have. The part Sister Sharita brought up about the ladies, the ladies, you know, with the 7-month thing. I didn't care. I don't believe I caught that the first time I read Jasher. So, you know, it's all tend and good, but we, you know, I agree. I definitely need to get back to where I was when I first had my awakening. Because when I first had my awakening, I had around with a apocrypha, you know what I mean? Like, stop, I'm opening up the book, you know what I mean? But we all probably need to get back on that. But in the same sense of it, honestly, I'm kind of where you at with it. You know, this kind of started me off every time on Saturdays too. Saturdays, I'll be looking forward to this. I'll be looking forward to it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. Right or wrong, this is where we're at in this season. This is my personal reading time. This is my personal time to get information that I might not otherwise be able to get due to my own hectic schedule that I'm in. And I'm with you both that I do need to try to, even if it's just like 10 minutes, just squirrel it away for just the Most High. But right now, this is what I can do right now, and I pray that it gets better, not just for me, but for all of us.
Amen. Hallelujah. And I appreciate that right there. Hey, Black Gold, definitely go ahead and drop that link again, if you can. I was trying to scroll back up and highlight it, but I couldn't find it. So if you can drop that link again for either the Gad the Seer or for the group page, whatever, for where it's at, go ahead and do that. But yes, sis, I mean, I very much appreciate your input on that, because that does help humble the mind a little bit, because some folks really do have a hectic schedule and don't have time to read, as you know, we should all try to make time for.
Well, see, but that's why it's time to let our people go so we can serve the Most High and keep the Sabbath. This is exactly why we're in the place that we're in, amongst other things, but it's a consequence to our captivity.
I feel you.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
And that's one of the beautiful things about being able to come together and read is so that way, you know, we all get a chance to learn the word together. You know, that's beautiful. I thank the Most High for this. I really do. Because we all need it. All of us.
Yes. Yes. We still need those prayers too, family. We still need those prayers, family.
Oh, yeah. You definitely need to be delivered from this, from these afflictions. All right. So let's go ahead and, matter of fact, let me see what I do have. I can go ahead. Well, I got some. I keep a whole lot of that Dimitri Pruitt on deck. I keep that on deck. I'm telling you. Excuse me. I'll be burping from water. But yeah, this song, "Have Mercy on Me," that one, and "Give Thanks." Oh yeah. Them and "Put Your Hands Up." Oh man, there's so many songs. Like, their whole catalog is on fire. Their whole catalog is on fire. It became humble. I'm telling you, I could just jam out to their whole catalog all day. Like they man, all praise to the Most High for what He's doing with them. So I'll go ahead and matter of fact, I'm gonna play this "Give Thanks" right quick.
came home with music. Rock your hood. To the Abba, appreciate your kindness, for putting all the phony and dirty serpents behind us. Charismatic tongue with deception trying to blind us. Beware flattering lips, they on assignment. I'm Hashatan, they're playing darkness, but straight up disguising. Using Tor to win you over, but they lying when they pull up. Hey, swelling words and phony titans. Betray themselves as servants, but they hiding. Malicious and conniving, these times we see not surprising. Buffoonery, chuck your jive and your feet will slide in due timings. Be careful the wave you're riding, huh? Handshakes and phony smilings. Real recognize the fakes, so I'm reminded. Better watch their fruit. Hey, phony conversation and whoop dreams. Inside jokes while you're puffing your weed. Nah, partner, huh? Laugh now but cry later. See, I recognize this great separation. It's a great separation.
Dang, bro. Bro, we lost. Cause they ain't out here. They say it's on the side of the road.
Man, which where they say they was at?
I don't, man, this young right here, bro. Hold on, man. All right, where y'all at, man?
Key, where y'all at? Oh, man, you made a left?
Man, no, man, we made a right, bro. Man, you know Big Bro ain't got his glasses on now.
Man, my glasses right here, big bro. I need y'all to hurry up, man. Me and Rock broke down right now.
It ain't looking good, No, sir. Okay, man, we'll be right there, bro.
Yeah, we gotta go that way right here.
All right, let's go, bro. Yeah. When we were kids, we played, but we turned into a class act. But Rocky Hua for giving us life. You only chosen if you act accordingly. According to the blood of Yahusha, it brought us back. Big Eye, take him on this journey, man. Humble music.
So the Abba, the gentle flow of a newer Yahoo. All esteem to Abba, he tell me something, put that gas in throttle. Never let up his people, don't need me being slothful. Never. That is worse than me rapping for self, that's truly awful. Pretty soon witness this place here toppled. Lamentation, Babylon, debacle, human fossils. Minutes scorched by the sun, laying like human dung. There's no comfort for the wicked, birth pain just begun. For the righteous, they begin to sing. Giving praises to the Elohim, freedom reigns. 144,000 set for Mount Zion. First fruits of his harvest, singing a brand new song. Waiting on little bro to come on home. Robes washed in the blood, kneeling before his throne. Yeah. What a sight to see, a scripture we read, manifesting, can you believe it? Yes, sir. Promises of Jacob, thank you, Abba. You done resurrected our nation from these dry bones. No more worries, no more sorrows. Pain was yesterday, but joy's tomorrow. We gon' celebrate. Hallelujah. Yeah, we gon' celebrate. That's right. Now we gon' celebrate. Y'all ain't no Mazel Tov. No more looking back, plantations, we be off. Yes, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shout outs to my IKM. Faith to push it forward, endure your suffering. You mustering the strength to keep you pushing. Be resilient. There's billions of lost souls not in your position. Better give thanks. Give thanks. You better give thanks. Yeah. You better give thanks. Shout outs to my IKM. Faith to push it forward, endure your suffering. You mustering the strength to keep you pushing. Be resilient. There's billions of lost souls not in your position. You better give thanks. Give thanks. You better give thanks. Yeah. You better give thanks.
Now we told you. We told you.
Sham Yahusha.
That's the only sin from Yahuwah though. From the top we realized we had to open up.
Thanks.
Had to clean our vessels up. So Abba fill our cup. Babylon went past its credits. Man, we done seen enough. We walking toward. Now we can show our strut. Now we can show our strut. Yeah.
praying. I've been hoping and praying for my people to break through from this cursed generation. Then again, so was Satan. He been hoping and praying on our people to perish, keep us trapped in enslavement. So we curve our enemies and we swerve our enemies, and we learn our enemies to deter our enemies. Cause we found our enemies wanna see our misery, want our heart, our mind, our goals, our soul, our light, our energy. We don't serve amenities or bow down to entities. Been down low for centuries, now we earn our liberty. Abba knows our history, cause Abba knows our destiny. Abba holds our history, cause Abba holds our destiny. Can't conform to iniquity, cannot run from penalty. Gotta live abundantly, so we can live in victory. On the path of the long and narrow, like tightrope is our specialty. You can look in my eyes and see. I done been high, I done been low, I done been broke, but I still stayed on the narrow road. I don't need cars, I don't need clothes. All I wanna see is them gold rolls. Will I stay strong, stay on course till my reward? Only God would know. But what I do know is when I do fall, that's when I go hard. That's what I would know.
Yeah, we been grafted to a greater life. Obstacles in our path, homie, we like demolition men, Wesley Snipes. Seen people come and go, many leave. If you ain't forced, take a hike. Keep refining, keep grinding. This how we turn pepper into spice. We been down for a minute, Willie Lynch and got the gender roles lopsided. On the rise, need the whole pie. Started off gas, fire ignited. Popped up out the blue, see, now your son on the horizon. I just need my pad and pencil when I'm writing, there's nothing quite exciting. Bought a new pack of them Tombos, that's dual brushes over time for. These my tour for my jailbreak, will I make it out? Only God knows. I gotta work till I faint, living the life you create. Give us blessings, we choose to be slaves. It's the Bible, ain't quoting Kanye, man. Late night in the daylight, get the truth out through the grapevine. Spirit inspired like Take 6, but I was born in that 8-9. Seeking wisdom from the TLP homie to stay in the will of my PLP homie. On battlefield like the CLD homie, the truth is organic, got Ripple T homie. I came out the dirt, but I'm pushing.
I done been low, I done been broke, but I still stayed on the narrow road. I don't need cars, I don't need clothes. All I wanna see is them gold rolls. Will I stay strong, stay on course till my reward? Only God would know. But what I do know is when I do fall, that's when I go hard. That's what I would know. Yeah.
All right. Well, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, family abroad. Love you, appreciate every last one of y'all for tuning in, whether you tuned in live, whether you tuned in late. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have y'all stop by and check us out.
Shalom, family. We'll see you next time.
Shalom, Israel. Love y'all. Love y'all. Shalom.
All right, so my schedule is good. They went ahead and scheduled me off this Friday. So I got Friday and Shabbat off.
Okay.
So I'm down for both nights. If y'all are down for both nights, or which night is good for y'all. I don't want to push on y'all no more. Y'all can take it.
I'm not. I'm gonna stick with Shabbat because you never know how I got these. I live with all these girls, so you know how that go.
Yeah.
You know what they won't do on Friday. They might pop up and say, Chili's on Friday or something like that.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Oh, from Vegas. Yeah. Sure enough. Lots of folks out there in Vegas. Goodness, we got so many folks out there. Man.
Right.
I had no idea.
Wow.
Goodness.
Yeah, we really spread to the four corners.
We is. Well, family, I'm going to go ahead and exit us out with the outro video. And I hope to see y'all again. We'll go ahead and reconvene Shabbat night, like right around 7 or 8 Eastern time, probably 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central. So we will holler at y'all again then and get some more of this Jasher in. I can't wait. Love y'all, family. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I was just saying, I can't wait. Shalom, family. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. I be ad-libbing.
Yeah, y'all got something to say before we go? I don't want to cut you off. Yeah, man. It's all good. Sis?
Shalom, family. I thought we already did this. Look, I'm having deja vu over here.
Right.
Good night, y'all. Saturday. I'll see y'all.
People.
All right.